Hey, Street Fighter listeners, thanks for being here. I was going to say watchers, because I'm looking at a camera right now. We're streaming the show right now on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. Thanks for watching along. Please jump in the chat. I'll try to be in there too. We can all listen to the mess that's about to be spread into our call queue right now. We're taking your call. Hey, Street Fighter all night long. It's been a while since we've done it. We did our holiday episode last week. And next week we're going to be on the West Coast, so you're not going to get a call-in show for 2 more weeks. We are going to return on whatever Sunday is after the 14th of January.
My birthday weekend.
The 20th. The 20th of January is when we will return with the call-in show. The number might be changing as well, so stay tuned for that information. I'll, of course, send updates to email and Patreon subscribers. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quinby. He's under the desk right now. We are Street Fighter Radio, the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show in any station across the nation. We've been doing it for 8 years now out of Columbus, Ohio, 614 area code. We're coming to you out of the Free Press Studios here in Columbus, Ohio, 92.7 or 98.3 on WCRS-FM, part of the Pacifica Radio Network. That number to dial is 614-412-5252. The call queue looks full already.
What?
People got some stuff to say about their bosses. We also have, if you're watching, you notice there's somebody else in the room, a special guest tonight, frequent caller, one of our favorite callers, and most interesting job havers of Street Fighters. Caleb the Raptor guy is here.
Howdy, y'all.
How are the birds doing?
The birds? The Raptors definitely had a good migration because you're trying to pay attention to the numbers every single year. You're trying to keep some sort of empiric gauge on what literally they're doing. And so, you know, the numbers were up last fall.
Good. Numbers are up when it comes to birds. That's good news.
Yeah, it is.
How has your week been, Brian?
Pretty good. Slow. I kind of been vacationing this week.
Staycationing?
Yeah, I mean, not really vacationing. I did the show, you know, on Wednesday. It just feels like...
I got ground to a piece of dust. I was sick as hell yesterday. Started Friday, I just collapsed and was freezing, shaking, and was sick all day yesterday. Just watched bad TV and played video games.
I did get the patented I'm dying text from you a few times yesterday when I first talked to you. You were like, I'm sick and I'm dying, and then 2 days before that you were like, I've been going for 8 days and I'm exhausted. And I'm like, man, that's the problem with having friends. That is the issue with it.
Well, in the holidays, people are in town that I don't ever see, and they want to do something every night, and it's just wore the shit out of me. I had like a Britney Spears moment. It was a diva moment. I was just like exhausted.
I can't handle it. God damn.
Yes, that was my moment. I was exhausted.
I mostly sat around.
I couldn't keep it up. I couldn't keep all that energy up. I couldn't get all that holiday cheer. It just zapped me.
My wife was sort of like, I just want to hang out with you before you leave for 10 days. So I just basically got to do whatever I wanted to for this whole weekend, since I'm gone for 2 of them in a row there.
My wife doesn't say that. She just guilts me with a fat lip into watching more TV episodes with her.
Yeah, she's going to get mad at you. She's going to be like mad at herself next week because me and you are out on the West Coast not having a ton of fun. No, I'm kidding. We're going to have so much fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
It's so beautiful.
I heard tale that I might get my hands on some Percocets in California. So
is that legal out there?
No, but maybe somebody might be working on that for me.
Okay. Well, we will indeed be there. We are doing a show in Los Angeles. I'm getting the final ticket link together. It's definitely happening on the original date. January 12th, Los Angeles, California, at the Virgil. Tickets will be here hopefully tomorrow. I have to finish up this shit, but hopefully tomorrow, Monday, we'll blast it out to any way we can. We're going to be in Seattle, Washington. That show is very close to selling out, so you need to get tickets for that now on January 5th. That's this Saturday, dude.
Damn!
Yeah,
I was thinking that yesterday. I was like, we're going to be in fucking Seattle next week. I'm going to be too stoned having a panic attack at this time.
Somebody in one of those chats were like, guys, we got to all pitch in and get him a whole pound. And I'm really fucking stoked at that idea. I'm going to bring my blunt roller with me, just in case.
Oh my god! Yeah, so I've had a lot of people
passion fruit wraps.
I've had a lot of people get a hold of me and be like, "What's your favorite kind of weed strain?" And I'm like, I tell them.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously I'm crazy.
No,
I
don't ever second guess charity.
Yeah, I say, listen, if you're listening and you're trying to find it out, I like 1-to-1. I like high CBD strains. Still want THC in there. You still need the brain melting stuff.
Right.
But I like high CBD strains. I like sativas. So, indicas. I got an indica right now that I've burned through in like 4 days. That like really, it makes me feel good. But sometimes I'll get a little wild on those things in my brain. Like,
oh really?
yeah, I just can't chill out. I get a little nervous. Everything goes numb for a few minutes, and I'm like, I got to be in bed to do those these days. My brain is fucked up now, man. I think, you know, the thing is, I should have probably switched my SSRI like 5 years or 3 years ago or so. I've been on the same one since like 2006, and it's just probably not working anymore. But you know, I don't feel like doing any changes. I do check in every 6 months, and they're always like, "Do you want to switch?" And I'm like, now's not the best time. So I just kind of, every time I'm like, just now's not the best. I didn't want to do it this time because the tour was coming up.
But are you feeling like it's time?
I mean, I'm anxious a lot more than I had been in a few years, but I'm gonna be all right.
You're too successful, man. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
You start coming up with shit to be afraid of once you're not afraid of like bills and shit. You know?
Yeah, just the anxiety pops back in when, I mean, like I'm not like doing great with money right now, but better than I ever have in my life, which isn't saying a lot because
right, I know, it's a very low bar.
It's like the lowest bar anybody's ever had to jump. But like I am doing a little better, and like my job is relatively easy, but I find things that freak me out, and then I just sit around and be freaked out about
roll them around in my brain.
Go ahead,
let's think about these things. You swim in the deep end too much up there. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm good now, though.
Okay.
I'm good right at this second. I had a good week. I played a game with my wife that she beat me at twice, and now I destroy her every time because I figured it out.
You gotta hold back. You can't destroy.
I can't help it. I can only do one thing. I only go one speed when I play a game, and you know what that speed is? Win.
Destroy.
11.
It's not even like, for me, it's like, it's not even like destroy. It's just like, I think I'm the shittiest player in the game, so like I could never like lean back and like slow down. Does that make sense? Like I would never slow down because I think I'm gonna
You
fucking
already
lose.
think you're gonna lose.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna lose the whole time. So then at the end of the round, when I've scored like 400 more points than my wife, and I'm like, I wasn't like trying to do that or anything. I just thought you were winning.
Because I always, the new Super Smash Brothers game, God, I want to play it so bad because I haven't played it yet. I haven't even played on the Wii U or anything. The last one I played was Brawl, and I think there's one between that one. That's how long I've been out of the game in video games. The Wii was my last system, and when I was in high school, I used to play Brawl competitively at tournaments because we just played it so much.
Yeah.
And my main was DDD, and that DDD is a sit back and just like, all right, we're just gonna torment this motherfucker with like these 4 moves.
Yeah. It's still pretty much the same game. I picked it up pretty good. I get some online wins in there, and I'm like super surprised. It's like the only time, like, there was a moment where I was up screaming because we were like head to head, like sudden death, and I'm like standing on the bed screaming.
300%.
Yeah, and like I won, and it was like the best feeling. And I was like, this is why I do these things.
Yeah.
They aren't a waste of time. There was nothing like what I just did.
Tons of joy. This is the joy of
Super
figuring
Smash
something
Brothers
out.
is it's such a good
my
game.
fucking bullshit. You know what my wife did too? Is I was sick all day, and I was just like frigid, laying in the bed, like for the whole afternoon, just sitting there shaking. And I like was like, all right, just get up and take ibuprofen because it's been working. So I went and did that, and I was feeling better, and I went and turned the switch on to play Smash Brothers, and my wife walks right in the room. She goes, oh, you're like a teenager playing hooky. Kentucky in here. And it was like, I was just shivering in flop sweat for like 2 hours. In the minute that I stepped in, she said that, pulled that shit on me.
You got caught, man.
I know. Playing around. I'm not sick. I just want to play Ultimate now.
Yeah, I was trying to get into I was trying to get some gaming done today, but every time I try to do it now, I try to find 5 things to do before I do it, because I'm trying not to turn into like a sits at home playing video games all the time person, because I just got over a heavy addiction to wrestling.
Right.
And now I'm trying to like not roll that into a heavy addiction to video games, you know? Like I have a healthy relationship with wrestling now.
Okay.
A very healthy relationship with it. Thank you. Thank
Proud.
you. I'm not watching 6 to 8 hours of it a week anymore.
Okay.
But I would still watch it. I still love the graps. Don't think that I've turned my back on it. I'm staying up all night this Thursday for Wrestle Kingdom. So I'll be up all night. But I got a healthy relationship there. And I got a healthy, and so I'm like, if I play this game all the time, because I'll sneak away to play the damn thing, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, what's everybody doing? And like my wife will be like, I'm watching the Mindy Project, and I'll be like, oh, I don't watch that show. I'm gonna run upstairs real quick and play Hitman 2.
Right. Let me get some kills in.
yeah. That's been my like thing, but yeah, I don't know. I was having so earlier today on Twitter. Stephen Heck posted a picture of a pizza book, a book with different kinds of pizza that you can make, right? Like a cookbook with different kinds of pizza you can make. And in that book, there was he showed one of the recipes, and that recipe was pizza with tuna and peas on it.
Wow.
And look, I am not one of these guys that tells you what you can put on pizza. You know what I mean? I don't care what you put on pizza. I'll make a buffalo chicken pizza. I don't care. I'll put pineapple on it. I don't care. But what it reminded me of was when I was a kid, one of my favorite foods in the whole wide world was Kraft macaroni and cheese, because I'm American and that's what our parents fed us.
Right.
And it was delicious.
They still do.
Yeah, well, I did. My daughter loved it.
Right.
And my parents, when they would make that a lot of times, they'd be like, just throw some tuna and some peas in there. It's like a whole meal. And it used to fucking infuriate me that these people, that they would adulterate my macaroni and cheese with tuna and peas and ruin it. So I got to thinking today about like a few different dishes that my parents would make when I was a kid that, look, I probably poor, right? They didn't say it, but like when they were making hooch, we were probably broke. When they were macaroni and cheese and you pour a tomato soup in it and you put some ground beef in it, that's like a poor people food, I think. It's like when you're broke, there are 5 kids in the house and like tuna helper and stuff like that. And I posted this earlier in the group. I would love to hear some people's like poor, gross, lazy dinners, because I don't do lazy dinners anymore.
No, I don't do lazy dinners.
You don't either, but there was a time in your life.
What about even just the hamburger meat with the taco packet on it? That's like unacceptable.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. You can buy sausage, same damn price. Yeah.
Tuna noodle surprise is what they used to call that at a couple places that I knew. It was like a casserole thing. That's what it sounds like that pizza is.
Yeah.
And that's one of those dinners I would find out what people were eating. They're like, you want to stay for dinner? I'm like, no. Hell no. No. My parents' lazy dinner was actually shish kebabs.
Oh,
like they would just cut it up, skewer it, and then my dad would put it on the grill, and that was dinner.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of like blackened fucking food.
Yeah.
Blackened steak and peppers and onions. And those tomatoes that have just been exploded.
People that'll do breakfast for dinner, that's for broke people, but it's not lazy. That is not a lazy dinner.
Well, you always got to make a full spread to make it not feel like broke dinner.
A quadrillion dishes.
Pancakes are so cheap to make.
But there's like a million dishes.
Yeah, it has to also be like a meat on the side and an egg and juice.
Try to get a vegetable in there somehow. Like, it doesn't match, but you try. You know?
Well, I've gotten good at making omelets.
If I ate eggs, if I ate eggs, I'd eat an omelet and put some vegetables. I don't eat eggs, though. That becomes a problem for me.
That's a big staple of that breakfast food.
So if you're calling in tonight and you have something like that in mind, you have something on that your parents used to make that you hated, maybe something that you make now. I know Dan, a faithful listener to this show, Read Write Nap on Twitter, when I mentioned how much I hate tuna casserole, that tuna mac and peas thing, he said, "How dare you talk about the dinner I'm having tonight?" And he actually made that, but he dumped a can of cream of mushroom soup in it, and it DM'd me a picture of it.
What is disgusting? That is bad food, buddy. It was macaroni and cheese?
It was Kraft macaroni and cheese. Well, I mean, I can't say it was the Kraft brand. It could have been the Aldi brand of mac and cheese. And they're all the same.
Right.
But, like, yeah, I just was like, that is unacceptable. I understand wanting to do a lazy dinner and not being able to afford to go out to eat. I do. I have that. I have that all the time now.
Sure.
Where it's just like, I wish I didn't have to fucking cook, man.
Well, and yeah, a lot of fresh ingredients go bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, let us know your broke people dishes. This goes with something that somebody asked us in the thread the other day, too, that we didn't get to do on the show, but cheap meals is that's a good thing to talk about, because a lot of people are broke in this audience, and they want to know what they can cook that tastes good or that's slow. And, like, you know, if you're a dude and you were raised in like a house that, you know, like a patriarchal house, I guess it would be the point. American like the household. Average, and you probably don't know how to cook.
Yeah, I mean, I had to learn a lot. It was a lot of.
When I got to school, college.
You went to school for it?
Well, no. College is when I learned.
Oh. Yeah, I had no fucking idea, and it took a lot of effort to make it make sense. But once you understand spices and how to do some shit, you can make pretty much anything taste pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
You just gotta go with stuff with other dishes that you like and just ask people what it is, and you'll find out that people pair certain things together a lot, you know?
Right.
And they work well. You know?
Right. I didn't learn until, like, I was with my wife for, like, 10 years before I started to learn how to cook, but at least I learned it at some point. And so I know there are a lot of people that, like, because I know when we first started dating, I wouldn't even, like, cook meat because I was afraid. Like, I don't want to kill you, ma'am. Okay?
Right. I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to get some sort of diarrhea from this.
Let's get some callers on the line, man.
All right. Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Triumphant return, buddy. It's Mississippi Willie. What's going on?
Mississippi Willie's back.
I miss y'all so much, buddy.
That was, I mean, last week you came in like a bat out of hell, and then your phone turned off. What are you up to tonight, Mississippi Willie?
Left us with some real good advice. People are already cashing in on the Burger King receipt code scam.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't know about this.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
We got confirmation.
That makes me happy. That makes me real happy.
And you are verified, my friend, because we had a Burger King employee also say that nobody cares about the fucking code that's written on there.
Yeah?
Yeah, you just got to put, like, it's different every month, but it's the same, like, every year. So they got, like, one for each month. I do it, like, once a week.
Okay. Yeah. One free Whopper a week is not a joke, man. That's
good
eating. I mean, even though Whoppers are a mess these days, really. I mean, were you mad at me? Somebody messaged me on Twitter. Somebody mentioned to me that I was a little hard on Burger King on the show at some point because I said it sucks.
Sure.
Were you the one that was not happy with me?
It all does.
Yeah.
It all sucks, but, like, I'm a quantity over quality person. I mean, I drink Keystone Light. It's like $6 for a 12-pack.
I drink Hams, buddy. I'm right there with you.
What about Genesee? You like Genesee cream ale?
I don't know if they get that down there.
Oh, that's like $1.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
You can get a big can of that for $1.
Northeast.
Yeah. Keystone
Light.
I
mean, for those poor people meals, though, like Beanie Weenies and some Keystone Light, and that's a good night.
Beanie Weenies was one of my favorites. I still make it for myself. My wife thinks it's disgusting. She's like, I don't want my daughter to eat that, and I will just make up a whole big batch for myself. I love it. It's got good macros, too.
Macros.
Like baked beans?
Yeah, baked beans with fake fucking hot dogs.
Haven't eaten a baked bean.
Yeah.
I probably haven't eaten a baked bean since I
yeah.
graduated high
And
school.
I put tons of onions and mustard all over it
Okay.
too.
Yeah. Beans are clutch. That's all I'll say about them.
Yeah, beans are one of the best.
Was not
Can't
a
get past
baked
beans.
beans guy. I like beans. Don't like baked beans. So what's going on, Willie? What are you doing tonight?
Same thing. Just watched Tennessee get the dog shit beat out of them because they're not worth anything.
Who'd they play? Sorry.
I put down I put down my down payment for a room that I'm gonna be renting today, so that felt good because I'm taking a break from school, so I got to move out.
Of the
A little
dorms?
bit.
You gotta move out of the dorms?
I live in a fraternity house right now, but yeah, I got to get out for a
Nice.
while. So
So you're
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna are you renting a room or a house or an apartment? What are you doing there?
I'm just renting a room at a house. It's
Is that tough?
not bad.
Really? You
I-
kind
I
of already,
haven't
you
even-
kind of already are doing that now if you're in a fraternity house, I guess, right?
That's true.
Yeah, pretty much. It'll cost a little bit more, but I'm gonna be able to work full time, so it'll be good.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I took a month off. I took a semester off when I was in school and went back. So don't let all those people tell you you're not going to go back. You will go back,
I hope
Mississippi
I go
Willie. Do you like?
I've got to build up my credit.
Can I ask you about? Can I ask you a question about Keystone? I just want to ask you this. Do they still claim that the inside of the can is made out of glass?
Oh, I've never heard that.
Holy shit!
Ryan's not a drinker.
Really?
Ryan's
Yeah.
not a drinker.
No, you talk for a minute.
I
I'm gonna
crush
get you
it
the
often
info.
enough.
What was the one that
It's always fun when you put it on your forehead. You just crush that son
Yeah,
bitch like
because
that.
the cans are
I don't
taller
think
and the
it's
base is
right.
smaller. It's easier to squish. I drank that when I was in high school. Like
Which one of those Which one had the little area on it that you could puncture with a key so that you could shotgun it?
That or
They don't
Coors
do
Light.
that.
Oh,
They don't
all
do-
do. I love doing that. That's always fun.
No, shotgunning beers is amazing. Like if you want to get a beer in you in like a second.
Like I said, I live in a fraternity house, so we do that. That's like a ritual. We'll also do like Edward 40 hands, which is always fun.
Oh man, that's a classic.
Oh God.
Oh, here
I
it is.
haven't
Here it
played
is.
that in a long
Here's
time.
what it was. I'm sorry. I fell for advertising. Bottled beer taste in a can was their thing. That's why.
That's the same thing.
And I thought they were saying like, oh, because it's basically like the inside of that can's a bottle.
We
You know?
line it with glass.
Not glass. Like I thought it was a special scientific
Silica.
glass.
Right, but
Silicate.
But the statement it achieves the same thing.
Bottled beer. I mean, is
Disagree.
bottled beer known to be that much better than canned beer? People love
For
cans.
me, I think bottled is definitely better, but I'm just trying to save some money right now.
You like that tornado bottle that lets it go down faster? You know that one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's nice. That's the good stuff right there.
Vortex. The Vortex bottle.
Yeah.
Vortex bottle. I feel for you leaving
But,
school. What kind of stuff are you doing in school, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a political science major.
Nice.
I love it. I
Tough
was
choice.
that
The
for.
easiest fucking degree.
It is probably not the hardest degree, but it's. Do you run it? I had a lot of. I tried to major in political science for a period of time, and I had a really hard time, like kind of conforming to like how you do it. I think if I went back now, I would be able to handle it a little more. But at the time, I was more about thinking big picture. That's why I went to sociology. And, it can get frustrating when you're a political science major and you're like, well, I have all these ideas. And then the teacher's like, is that communism? Is that anarchism? And you're like, I don't know what that is. It's just stuff that I think.
Actually, my professor that I have the most, because there's only two in our department, he's like 90 years old. He's a socialist, so, we can have some good discussions, because most of our classes are just, discussion classes. And we don't have any work. We get like a paper or two a semester, and that's it. So it's real easy. I can think big picture in there, and I like that.
You got a lot of chuds in your class or a lot of libs?
My lips.
It's pretty much an even mix.
Yeah.
There's a few like
Tennessee.
leftists on campus, but most of the other people in political science are like other people from the other fraternities that are pretty chud folks. Like,
Yeah.
one of the houses has like a big portrait of Robert E. Lee in their living room.
Oh God.
Well,
That's a spooker.
the thing that people don't understand about college is that, like, it's more conservative than I think a lot of people think it is. Like, because you go into the classes and all these people have convinced you that they're like, that everybody there is like this leftist that's like a progressive that's like about this free flow of information and ideas. And part of the reason I loved college was because you were allowed to sit in a class, and especially in sociology, you were allowed to sit in a class and say something, and then, you know, people would pick over it or agree with you or whatever. But a lot of times, like, they'll tell you, like, I don't know, that's not really realistic in the world that we live in, and stuff like that. Like, it comes off, it is more conservative than I think people think.
And the people that are there, they're progressive. They're just progressive because they think that people should be able to live their lives how they want. Yeah. Like, they're just for equal rights for people. Like, that's enough for them to say that everybody's extremists in college just because they were before, you know, pro-gay marriage or something, you know?
I mean, I keep myself in kind of a bubble around here. Like, most of the people I hang out with are, I would say, a little bit further left. I mean, I'm on the porch right now, and I'm looking at one of the guys in my house. He's on the second floor, and his room faces the main road. And I'm looking at he's got a big portrait of Mao just hanging in his window.
That slaps. If it's visible like that, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just...
They actually, they had a, like, this big, I think it's called Big League Politics, if y'all ever heard of that. It's like this real right-wing website. And they, like, wrote an article on our school, like, last year because we were demolishing one of the buildings to, like, build something else. You know, they got all that fucking money. And, they let us go in there and just write whatever we wanted all over the walls inside because they were going to destroy it. Some people took pictures, and, like, the headline was, like, Campus Chaos. This is what liberalism run amok looks like.
Nice.
That's, oh, my God.
Don't you love making it? I mean, I love it when they... Like, I got found by some guy from Twitchy today for making fun...
I saw that.
Yeah, for making fun of... These people went to Domino's Pizza, Brett, okay? And they were like, hey, I want to order 15 pizzas, but I can't come there and pick them up.
Okay.
But I want to have them delivered to the police department.
Okay.
But I want you to charge me the $7.99 a piece pizza pickup price. And the pizza place was like, no.
No, that's a delivery. You're asking us to deliver it.
And I posted, like... Well, I posted it and said fucking owned like that. And then, like, I did, like, a little bit of a thread where it's like, they don't, like, these cops are, like, doing their job. Like, why should they be able to have special treatment? Like, and all the, like, I explained myself, you know? And people did make jokes, and Twitchy, one of the guys... Like, it got retweeted by somebody that Twitchy had written a thing about. And now there's a guy that's just, like, obsessing over how mean I was to the police. And it's like, it's like, I wasn't even that. That is the most benign thing that you could ever say, is that I don't think that the police deserve special treatment.
Right.
Or free pizza.
I'm more caught up. I mean, anybody can do what they want. Well, but I wouldn't never call up because you know, in his mind he's like, they'll give us the pickup. Fucking cheapskate. Like someone that wants to be generous, but then's also like fucking picky about it.
Yeah, they
want
want
it. You want to buy pizzas for him? You got to pay full pizza motherfucking delivery price unless you come pick them up.
I'm with you, dude. I think that guy called to do that because he thought he'd get them for free. He would just, they'd be like, we'll just make them for free.
Right.
Fuck
yeah,
it.
you'll do some goddamn, like, Facebook Facebook post photo op bullshit.
Yeah, bring a Facebook Live down here. We're going to go take them down there and take pictures of all their smiling faces.
Right, and that's what the guy thought.
Yeah.
And when it didn't happen, it made him mad, and he did a big Facebook post. And then he ended up going to Pizza Hut, and they did give him the cut. But it was just like, dude, that $7.99, I'm just going to say this. I'm not a businessman, but I do run a business. And $7.99 for a pizza, right? Well, Brett runs the business, but I'm part of running a business.
Sure.
$7.99 for a pizza probably isn't doable if you have to put it in a car and drive it
No,
somewhere.
no.
Yeah, because
No,
gas
man,
still
no.
costs $3 a gallon, regardless of like, yeah.
You have to pay for some. I mean, they don't pay much, but they do pay something. Like there is an extra cost to delivering something.
I mean, you might as well try to get that discount, though. I mean, I love doing the military discount thing. I've never been involved with them at all.
You've done it, Mississippi Willie?
They don't ask for like an ID or anything. You just go in there, you're like, hey, do y'all do a military discount? And they say yes, and they don't even ask, not even ask for ID. They don't even ask like, yeah, we do. Are you in the military? They're just like, yeah, sure. And they take like 15% off.
The dude
Yep,
that got
15.
the dude actually really got mad at me because I said I was going to order 15 pizzas and say I was giving it to the cops and use it to cater a street fight radio live show.
Try to get him for free and then throw a pizza
I
party.
actually got them. I got pulled over by the cops this past week. It was like the night after I called in, and I got pulled over for like those little lights that light up your license plate. I got pulled over for that shit.
Rear
And the
illumination,
wiring's broken,
baby.
So I can't even, like, the wiring went out, so I can't even replace the lights. But like, you've got fucking headlights on your car. Like, you even got that little spotlight in your goddamn, like, mirror. You can see plain as day. It says Shelby County, Tennessee, some bitch. Like, you can see my shit.
Yeah.
And he pulled me over, and he was like, yeah, okay, I'm a nice guy. Like, I'm going to give you a warning.
I pulled
It's
you
all
over,
right.
but I'm nice.
I was like, cool.
Fuck off.
And he's like, all right, so do you have anything illegal in the car? I was like, no. So,
God.
and that's what he pulled me over for. He didn't pull me over because of that light. He wanted to try to search me. And I didn't have anything, but he spent fucking 45 minutes tearing my shit apart. And I just
Yeah.
had to sit there. He wouldn't even let me text.
It's the classic, dude. I mean, they always go after that little light bulb.
That it's rear illumination. That's how I know it's rear license plate illumination. Is what they get you for, because that little, it's stupid too. Mississippi Willie is right, of course, always, when he said that they have headlights.
Yeah.
They can see.
Yeah, and this is another situation where those things are about 49 cents, I think, for those bulbs, and they're pretty much universal. You could just keep a case of them in the trunk and just replace them when you find people who don't got them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, his wires are fucked up. Mississippi
Well,
Willie's
no,
like,
but they pulled you over because they want to find drugs on you. Because
Right.
he was like, yeah, I'll give you a warning for that. I won't give you a ticket, but mind if I search your car? I was like, man, come on.
did you ask him for? I guess you don't want to fuck with a guy like that. I always like to hear why they want to search my car. Like, what made you? Because I remember I got pulled over with Katie once, right? She drove this 79 Nova that was just an enormous piece of shit. And we would get pulled over
That's
all
why
the
they're going to search you.
We were
That
getting
car's got drugs in it.
we got pulled over all the time. And one time we got pulled over, and I was wearing a 3X Army jacket that somebody gave me, and like really baggy jeans. And I probably didn't look like the most upstanding member of society. They pulled me out of the car and searched me. I wasn't even driving. They were like, can the fella in the front get out so I can search him? And they searched me because they thought they had something.
Right.
You know, they didn't end up getting
Oh,
me.
man, they got one of my... I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Well, they got one of my brothers on that like 2 days before, and like they found like a gram of weed on him because he didn't signal in the lane change, and it's decriminalized here, so you don't go to jail. You get like a $10 fine or some shit, but they impound your car, and he's got like
That's expensive.
I can't fucking remember. I think he's got like, I can't remember what he's got, but it's a like old ass like early 90s car. And he had to pay $2,000 to get it out.
Whoa.
And like
Yeah.
that's more than it's worth.
Yeah.
That's total, essentially.
And that is also
Total
bullshit because that's such a workaround fine where they're like, yeah, marijuana's decriminalized. It's only going to cost you $10. You
Yeah.
know, if you get caught with it.
They get you in the system too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
it turns to
it's
2,000.
not like it's not illegal to have the weed, but if you have a grinder or a pipe, you go to jail.
Oh,
like
God.
paraphernalia is more illegal than
Yeah.
the weed itself.
Yep.
If you just have the plant, you're not doing anything with it. It's fine. We're fine with that.
If you're just a horticulturist.
Yeah. Well, Willie, it's good to hear from you again. I'm glad your phone's okay.
Hell yeah, man! I love y'all boys. I'll talk to y'all in a couple weeks, I guess. I don't want to take up all everybody's time, so
Hell yeah. Good
y'all have a
night.
good one now.
Good night, buddy. Yeah, that cop thing is hilarious, though, right? Like, tried to get that guy tried to get free pizza from the police.
Yeah, that was I mean, that
Seems
re-
like a fresh scam, though. It really seems like
It seems
something
like a really good
That's
scam.
the kind of big dick energy you gotta swat down vehemently.
But no, that is true. I mean, if you placed enough phone calls and instead of throwing a fucking fit about it, just kept going down the list, somebody would cave. Somebody
Yeah.
has enough in their budget to do it. And like I said, someone's trying to get noticed by management and will make a fucking Facebook post about it for their local store.
Yeah.
So there is so much potential to abuse that system. And I've heard, I don't want to, well, I'm not going to say who it is, but somebody we work with that does something similar where they do video shoots, like big time video shoots. Hey, we're doing a shoot for Chrysler right now. Would you be interested in providing lunch for the cast? And he said a lot of people will just do it.
That's
you know?
the big rumor about Chipotle is that if you call them early in the day and say, I'm in a touring band, and I'm in a touring band, and we're going to be in your town later. Can you set up some food for us? And they'll be like, yeah, they'll set up free food for touring bands coming
Okay.
through town.
You
But
can just make them do that every day.
the guy in the band, a guy in a band told me this.
Okay.
I don't have the guts to try it.
I want to try to do it, and
You guys are
then
touring.
I want to hit it with a baseball bat.
I mean, I'll eat the food if you want to try it, dude. Say
Okay.
me and you were in a fucking.
You have to get it
folk
delivered to the
band.
venue or something?
No, I
Because
think
we can
you
pull
can
that
just
in
pick it
Portland.
up.
We could say like we're at the big theater. We could say we're playing the Crystal Ballroom.
Yeah.
We're just playing the side room. But,
We just pick it up though. We
Yeah,
can just stop
I'll meet
by
you
and
in
pick
the
it up.
lobby.
We'll be like, we'll send our road manager, and then one of us will go
Yeah.
in and be like,
I'll
"I'm
shave
the
my
road
beard
man-
off and go pick it up.
I'm the
And then-
road manager for this band that's coming through."
Save all the hair and glue it back on for the show.
Yeah, I mean, you can really say you're a band that already exists too. What
That's
do
true.
they know about anything?
That's true. They don't know.
They don't, like, I'm from Imagine Dragons.
We have 1 million listens on SoundCloud.
Yeah, I'm here to pick up a barbacoa for burrito for Little Zan.
All right, let's see who's on the
Little
line
man.
next. Thanks for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
What's up, guys? It's your favorite non-binary dyke, Elizabeth.
How's it going?
Elizabeth, what's up? You scared me there. I didn't know which non-bear. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna try to be funny about it,
That's good.
but then I'm like, I'm just gonna
Sorry.
not. How you doing, Elizabeth?
Sorry, I'm good. Just a heads up, I'm a little zoned, like not a lot anymore.
What
are
If
you
I ever,
doing,
like,
Elizabeth?
Stop making sense. Like if I just start being incoherent, you can just hang up.
What are you doing? What are you drinking? What are you doing drinking now? Well, last time we talked to you, you
No,
tried
no, no,
weed
no,
for the
wait.
first time, and now you're
Wait,
drinking.
Is Zonk? No, I wouldn't drink. Is Zonk drinking?
What?
Is Zonk drinking?
I don't know who Zonk is. Uh-oh.
No, I was just saying I just smoked a little bit.
Oh, I thought you said you were drunk. I'm sorry. I thought you said you were drinking. Nice.
No, I said Zonk.
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 Got it.
Zonk is a good
I'm
word.
cool and singing.
Elizabeth gets into weed and then makes up their own slang.
We say zonked for going
Yeah.
to bed in my house. We say zonked out.
Yeah.
It's currently labeled as Mookdorf.
Zonk, can I say that Zonk sounds like something bad that happens to you during a game show? Oh, you've been zonked.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like an
Oh, it
onomatopoeia in a
does.
sense.
It's like
Yes.
a whammy.
Yeah.
It's technically a whammy.
Well, yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
We shut down.
Zonked. So what's been going on with you, Elizabeth? How's work going?
Good. Yeah, I think it's been a while. So, I got a job at my community college.
Oh, that worked out. See, I remember you were saying you were going to get a job at a college, so it worked out.
Yeah, I finally did. It's actually really great. Only problem is I can't work like this week or like last just because they're closed.
Nothing to do, yeah.
Yeah.
So are you not
but-
getting paid, so you're kind of nervous?
Well, actually, I'm a little nervous doing something else with it too. So it's like a student worker job. It's not just like a job there. It's specifically a student worker job. And the thing I use to like register for classes, I'm somehow locked out of it. I guess like I reset my password, and I didn't realize that the password they sent me was like a one-time use thing. You know, so and because there's no one there to reset it, you know, I can't until people are back, and so I have to be registered for classes to have that job because it's not just a job, it's a student job.
Just
So-
register for whatever they got. I know,
Well-
you're saying how there might not be courses.
No. I mean, I have classes picked out. I have everything except one class picked out. The problem is just I can't get into the website thing because something
Yep.
until it might be too late. So hopefully I'm keeping my job. But
I hope you keep your job. Is it easy?
yeah, it's genuinely not too bad. But also there's not a ton to do for the most part.
You said it was a janitorial thing, right? Like, are you cleaning classrooms?
Yeah.
You're cleaning up classrooms?
Mostly just like the open spaces.
Oh, that sounds like the easiest.
Yeah, it's just kind of like as needed, pretty much.
Yeah, and community colleges, people don't hang out in the common spaces as much as at Columbus State. There weren't a lot of people. Every time I went to the cafeteria, there was like nobody there.
Yeah, we actually have a pretty nice one, and there's a few homeless people that like come in on the weekends, and just kind of set up shop.
That's cool though.
And
that's something to do.
No. I hope that didn't sound like I was saying that badly. No,
it didn't.
There's definitely people around. But yeah, it's pretty easy.
Can I ask you this
but
question? Can I ask you a question?
Go-
Is it better than
Go
Little
for it.
Caesars? I mean, the other
It
place.
is- Oh yeah, Little Caesars.
Yeah.
It is a bajillion times better than that. Because I'm actually doing something,
Yeah.
Like, even if the working conditions were, like, similar or whatever, like, I would prefer this one a bajillion times over because I'm not just doing something that no one needs done. You know? Like,
Yeah.
like in our, like, ideal world, no one needs a Little Caesars pizza,
I agree.
But, like, but someone's got to vacuum up, your crumbs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what. And
We
and
gotta
so
have
it's actually
people
nice to be
cleaning.
doing something.
We gotta have people cleaning all the time. Like the world needs clean. I am in a constant state of cleaning my house.
Right.
Because I feel like we need the clean. I'm not trying to sound like Jordan Peterson here at all. But if I'm running a place, I want it to be clean. Public, clean. We want the public to be clean.
Except for our studio. We can do whatever we want down there.
Yeah, we are kind of messy down in the studio. That's true.
It's lawless down there, though.
It is. It's anarchy. It's like that place out in California that people
Slab
want us
Cit-
to go to.
Slab City.
Yeah, somebody's like, you guys should go to Slab City. I'm like, no.
Oh,
Kind of.
I want to go Slab City.
I
Take
mean-
some mescaline and ride a sandboard or something.
I'm gonna do some checking. So what's been going on with you like lately?
Honestly, just not a ton. I'm on winter break right now for like another month even. Not quite a full month, but for a while. So yeah, mostly just like hanging around the apartment. I've been meaning to do a lot more reading, but I haven't done as much as I wanted to. But I've actually been meaning to call in for a while because I think a lot of times, like I think a lot of us just need to read more, And I don't mean
Need to
that
read
in a
more.
way
Uh-huh.
like,
Chill out,
um,
relax, recalibrate.
well, no, I mean, no. Like, I don't even mean that in a way where it's like, oh, this generation is, just on their phone, never reading. I just mean that in like, oh, if we want to understand, like, how things in our world work and other people's experiences and revolutionary ideas, we need to actually, like, get it from the source,
Sure.
Like, it's great to talk to people, it's great to think about stuff, but if you really want to actually learn something, just sit down with a book and read it.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I've added to my bedtime routine when everything's going well. I do read like a half hour before bed every single night, and even the bullshit I read, science fiction stuff, still you get so much empathy and like understanding from fictional characters in a book when you're that deep into it, you know. So yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of it, and it's way better. It's like it's also like you can't settle down and go to bed if you've been staring at your phone all day.
Yep.
And then just close your eyes and go to fucking bed. You can't do that.
Yeah, I can't look at my phone, but I like put my phone on the floor and read. Because even if you're just reading comic books or something like that, just read something that's more longer form than a tweet.
Right.
More than 240 characters.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think, I mean, I read mostly junk. Like, I read, like, crime books and stuff like that. But I do get through a lot of books, just nothing to brag about. Like, if I read books I could brag about, I'd be on the air all the time being like, you hear about this book I read?
But then you can interview the author, and there you go. That's your show.
Yeah. And before we go, I need to ask you, is Milo doing okay?
Yeah, they're doing good. Yeah, not too much updates. They're looking to do babysitting stuff.
That's a good job.
Yeah.
I could have done babysitting if I wouldn't have been a creep. You know, like if I didn't look like a total creep,
right? I
would have been a great babysitter. I
don't think you would have.
I think I would have. I am good with kids.
Right, you're talking about babysitting when? How old?
Well, I'm talking about when I was younger, but
as a kid, you should have been around kids.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I'll agree with that. Never mind. I shouldn't have. Well, Elizabeth, it was great to hear from you. Watch something on.
Sorry,
go ahead.
If you have just like another quick second about the reading thing, it's fine. If not, I can go.
No, go for it. Go for it.
But so I was thinking about this because I took a Black History course this last semester. Fantastic. And the professor is actually a communist himself, which is nice. And like all the course material was just reading. Like we just read like books and watched a few movies, and you know, like I learned so much more from that than if it was just his presentations and whatever. And so I have a recommendation from that catalog, which is a book called, I feel weird saying it because it's not like, it's like not a word I should say, but like, it's also not.
Be careful.
It's the word of the time. It's a book called Negroes with Guns.
Okay.
Which was written by this guy named Robert Williams, who eventually was forced to flee to Cuba and did a bunch of badass stuff. But it's just like I'm actually gaining knowledge and I'm actually gaining understanding of like revolutionary ideas and principles, right?
That's great.
Yeah. If anyone reads anything, it's a short read, very compelling. Yeah.
I read a book. This book came out of nowhere. I was just on the library app and I saw it, and I've never read books like this, so I was like, I'll just get it. It's called Couldn't Keep It to Myself, Wally Lamb and the Women of York Correctional Institution. So it's just it's a creative writing class that this guy ran at this correctional facility for women, and he just had them write like whatever they want. And some of it is like pretty detailed, like diaries of what landed them in jail. Some of it's just like fantasy stuff. Like it was really creative writing, but it gave me so much perspective on what led those people to where they're at, and like opened up so much more understanding about the world, I mean, I already have the compassion and care and all that stuff, but it's important to actually understand what other people's lived experience is like,
Yep, to be able to
For
empathize.
Sure. For sure.
And then
well, I'll let you guys get going.
Have a good one.
Have a great night.
You too. All right, let's get this next call on the line. Brian went to use the restroom, I think. I was going to tell a story, but I think it's too much to do on this show, so we will get the next one. Thank you for calling Street Fighter Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear us?
Yes.
You're on the air.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, it's Eugene Debs. How you guys doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm not too bad. Hey, man, I'm super glad to hear from Elizabeth, man. They are one of my favorite callers.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, it's been a
It's
while.
been a couple of shows.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How you guys doing? That's a weird feedback on hearing this fucking with me. I'm sorry.
You did what? Oh, you got feedback?
Yeah, it sounded
Yeah,
a bit
yeah,
echoey. But no, yeah, if you just did something, you're better now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it does sound a lot better now. Hey,
Howdy.
so I got a actually actually, you know what, Hawk Guy? I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
What is the coolest bird I should be looking for in Ohio?
Looking for a hawk in Ohio. Okay, good question. So when I was driving along the interstate, they had some infographics that made some claims that definitely caught my attention. And that would be if you go to like southern Ohio towards like Cincinnati, look for a white-tailed kite. And these little guys, fuck, a white-tailed kite is like, it's roughly the size of one of these, maybe like a third larger than like a, have you ever drank a Coors Light before? It's,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, I realized it was a dumb question, but they're roughly like a third larger than like a Coors Light can, and they're just tiny, white, and they're really conspicuous because they're white, and they like to perch in trees and just hang out.
They look cool. I'm looking at a picture of one right now.
Yeah, they got like those red eyes. Like I saw one in California on the coast where you guys are
red
going.
eyes?
What was that? Yeah.
You have red eyes?
Oh yeah. See, that's one of the. All right.
Okay, red eyes.
So the eyes is definitely one of the coolest parts about holding all these different birds in the hand, because the colors and shit are different. It's like you catch a bird. So when you catch them on migration, you're catching them in like September through November, and that's when they're migrating. The birds were born usually like in February to March. And so you can usually tell because it's just like, oh, they have different plumage in the adult. So it's like, you were born 5 months ago.
Right.
And so all those birds will have like a certain color of eye. And then when you catch the adults a little later, it's like, oh, now we got, so instead of having just yellow eyes, we got orange eye, we got like hazel eye, we've got just like infinite combination of colors going on. That's all. Yeah, raptor eye color is one of my favorite.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds neat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I got a dumb drunk guy rant that I've kind of been thinking about for a while. Maybe you guys could help me work through here, okay?
Sure.
So none of this is like, new or anything like that, but I think some of it bears repeating. And I'm probably going to use some terminology wrong, so just feel free to correct me. But like, so you hear all this fucking shit, like from the Jordan Peterson crowd and these Ben Shapiro people, just ranting about cultural Marxism, right? And
yeah,
people, and then like the online left likes to dunk on people, on the right wingers for like, oh, cultural Marxism, it's a made up thing, blah 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 blah. But like, to me, cultural Marxism, at least from the way what it sounds like to be, is good, and we should be like embracing it. Just from like my last minute research when I was like waiting on hold, like it's supposed to be like this slur that pretends like that liberals are communists. That's only bad if we assume collectivism is bad in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't really see any other way out of our current fucking situation than changing the fucking culture, right? And honestly, it's what makes this show so great. I'm sure you aren't going to want to hear this, but that's kind of what makes a show like this important, because it's building a community of people, of like-minded people who, like, embrace collectivism and want to see it spread. Because we're not going to fucking, like, win like through electoralism. We're not going to win through like violent overthrow either. Like,
yeah, because they're more armed than we are by like an arm and a leg.
Yeah, and by the way, even if we like convince like the army to lay down their guns, they have fucking drones. They have fleets of fucking machines now they can gun us down with. The only way, and like, I'm not an accelerationist either, man. I have 3 kids and a wife. Like, I'm not rooting for a fucking societal collapse. You know what I mean? But like, I could see it happening. We're 20, 30 years away from ecological disaster, right? So if society is going to collapse, we need to be building a culture of collectivism. Because right now, our culture is horrifying. We don't have cultural Marxism
It is
right
very
now. We have
horrifying.
cultural Calvinism right now, where it's like every fucking man for itself, and I mean, you guys all know it's fucking scary out there. So I think what the left needs to be doing is embracing cultural Marxism, and that's what I have to say.
I think a lot of people are working. I mean, I do think more people are working together now than ever. And there is like kind of, I can see a community building that has affection for each other, that seem, I don't know, like we're trying to tear people down as like a trait, you know what I mean? And getting the worst of us out, you know, somebody who is like a fucking sex creep. Like, of course, we got to get rid of them, but usually we're pretty forgiving.
Yeah.
We're pretty forgiving for transgressions, and like I think things are getting to a point where people are like, I don't have some big fear that if society I don't have a big fear that because I think about this a lot. If the government just stopped tomorrow and was gone, and they just turn the lights out. If they turn the lights out at the White House and the Senate and all that, and that's done, they're not in charge anymore, I really don't think things would go that crazy. I think that even we would have like this, and it's not a long amount of time, I think it's a short amount of time, but we would have a short amount of time to figure out how to get this thing running in the new way, and like it would be like a competition, competing ideologies. But I do think that like people would be so shocked. Like, I think, do you ever think about like that when the Soviet Union collapsed, Brett? Like, do you ever just sit around and think, like, one day these people woke up and it's like, yeah, this isn't the government anymore?
Right.
And now, like, and that was a huge, like, thing. You know what I mean? It was the second superpower. It was the second largest, or, you know, one-on-one with us. And it just, to me, it was like, they didn't go crazy and start killing each other. Maybe the best people didn't get power afterwards. And like, that's just... I mean, that's something we're going to have to fight, but I don't think we're at each other's throats as bad as people think. I think that we love each other, and I think there's solidarity in the working class, and I think there's solidarity in, like, the middle class, and I think that, like, we do genuinely care for each other, but, like, we also have created a culture where it's, like, caring about other people is considered a weakness. Yes, that's perfect.
Yes. Yes.
I would say there's a really good part.
What?
There's if you watch the ContraPoints video, I don't know if you watch her stuff on YouTube.
I do.
Look up the Jordan Peterson episode. Have you seen that one?
I've seen clips of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Okay, watch the whole. Well, I don't know, watch the whole thing, or I suggest the whole thing. But there is a part of it where she plays a few clips because Jordan Peterson does always say it's neoliberal Marxism. You know, he always is saying that kind of stuff. And she's like, "What does this even mean?" You know, and she really points. She makes like she writes down all the different things that he's referred to as neoliberal Marxism, and it's everything under the fucking sun.
Yeah.
You know, is neoliberal Marxism. Basically, anything he doesn't like, it's just a slur to them. You know, it's a dog whistle.
Well, we can't. That's what I'm trying to say. We can't allow them to use Marxism as a slur. I really think what I'm trying to get at. I think.
Sure.
I think that you guys were talking about like I think it was on a third show. Brian, you were talking about like a warehouse where you guys want to buy space or rent space or whatever, and do the shows and like have like almost like a community center, it sounded like. Like, shit like that is, like, what I'm trying to talk about, because it's not enough to just, like, win the war of ideas. You have to show people what you're talking about. You have to have, like, you know what I mean? You have to, like, kind of, like, you know, I guess from, like Christians would talk about, like, you know, like, spread the word through your actions. You know what I mean? And I really think that's like what we need to be doing, is we need to be showing people who we are. Like, you know, the DSA has done a lot of stuff with, like, the brake light workshops, and, like, that's what leftist communities need to be doing. The community getting real involved in the communities, not being preachy or anything like that, and just fucking just doing mutual aid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right. And I'll say this. I just got a message from somebody today, and that asked me about Columbus. Like, I want to be active in organizing in Columbus. Do you know where I should go to do that? And I would be a person to ask, I guess, that question, because I live in Columbus and do what we do, you know. So
you don't know much about what's going on, though.
But I told him who to get a hold of.
Okay.
And that's what I was also getting at, too. Was
Sorry.
that, like,
being resourceful.
I don't know. I didn't know where to go. I said the DSA is generally active every month, and they go to happy hours. And I said that, you know, I went to an IWW meeting. Not many people showed up. I don't know if they're still doing anything. And then I was just like, and I said the People's Justice Project is really cool, and they do a lot of stuff.
Food's Not Bomb is back in effect, too.
Food Not Bombs is going now, too.
What about even stuff like I'm thinking about doing Meals on Wheels. Like, it's not
Brett
a
does
leftist
that.
organization. Who does that?
I do
Brett
that.
does that.
Right?
Yeah, I do it through the DSA, and we wear, like, DSA shirts when we drop it off. And some of the old people they're, like, really ham-fisted about it. They're like, that shirt there, I like it. You know what I mean?
I love that.
They can't speak the word socialist. They can't say I'm a socialist. They just say I like what you're doing with that shirt there.
Yes, I've seen.
That's so cool.
That is
But
good.
do you know if the Cleveland chapter does that too? Because I just reached out to the Meals on Wheels people because I want to get involved. But if I could do it through the DSA, that would be even better. Like,
Well,
do you know if the Cleveland chapter does? Go ahead.
I have no idea. No, I don't.
They're pretty. I believe they're fairly They're a big group too, though, because they tabled at our last live show in Cleveland.
Right. Yeah.
There were a lot of them there, and they tabled at our first disastrous live show in Cleveland too, and they seem active. But I love I think people always make fun of us for saying, you know, go to the DSA or whatever. But in Columbus, the DSA is pretty radical. Like, they're doing all the shit that I would be doing. You know what I mean? Like, they don't do a lot of stuff that I disagree with. If I go to a protest, it's generally because the DSA said, we're going to this thing, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to that. You know what I mean? And, but I wonder, I do wish it was easier for people to, like, get a thing in their head, like, I want to do activism, or I want to organize, I want to get in touch with local leftists, and it was easier to find them, you know, because it's easy for me, but it's not easy for somebody that doesn't have a popular leftist podcast, right. You know.
What do you guys think about this? I think that leftists in general maybe get too wrapped up in protest and not wrapped like the doing the Planned Parenthood thing that Brett was talking about. That shit, like Brett does, that's really cool. Or the or again something like Meals on Wheels. To me, that's gonna go a lot longer and winning hearts and minds.
That's already there.
Yeah, man. But we also had some people that were literally getting thrown out of wheelchairs doing a protest in the offices here for Medicare and shit, which I think was pretty fucking powerful stuff.
That too.
Act up, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say this, in order to create some sort of thing that's like a community center with a political message, which is something that, yeah, I mean, in our dreams, one day, me and Brett will be bringing enough money in that we can open sort of a space that people can work on their cars or do things like that sort of thing. But also, I have
too much insurance.
That's what I was just about to say. It's like I've talked to people.
Goddamn insurance companies.
If you guys made that like some kind of like co-op thing, like I mean, I would contribute to it. I mean, it's just something to think about. Like, I mean, I would donate. I would help make that thing run if it was like a.
Yeah, we might.
No, not
well, from what people
no,
have,
I mean,
we don't want to do that. That's exactly why we don't. We're not going to do a fundraiser to do something like this. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it with the show money, you know, and like, because we want to do it. We don't want to make it other people's problem. You know, this is an idea that I have.
It's not about being a problem. I'm talking about being like a cooperative. Like, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, but I want people to be, like I said, I would offer, you know, we could do like a cooperative or something like that. I'm not like against that idea, but I would like it to like start as something that we don't have to ask for money for right away so that people can come in and see what we're doing. But the truth is, from everybody I've talked to about this idea, it has been done in other cities. The garage idea, it has been done, but the insurance companies just, you have to get insured, and they charge a lot of money for you to get insured to allow other people to use tools in a place like that, that is the hurdles we run up to is the hurdles we run into is that I want to do this. I have this really good idea. We talked about this. We talked about having a storefront as our place, as our office when we got our office, and that we would make things available like fentanyl testing kits, right? Like they'd be free, and they would be
needles?
They would, yeah, and probably need, but they would be free, and they would be at the place. But then, you know, the more that it started to come up, it was like, so will a landlord be cool with that? You know what I mean? Like, would our neighbors be cool with that? And then you have to start worrying about other people's biases, and like it just. They make it so hard to do this kind of stuff. But I want to do something big someday. I want to create a place that a community can come and meet and get real shit and also have access to radical politics. And I think we'll do it eventually. I think Street Fight's on its way to where we can start to make something like that happen. But like, I just worry about it because it's like everything's geared toward not letting that happen. The whole world is kind of geared toward not letting that happen.
Dude, there's been there have been like queer community centers that have been that I'm sure existed for like people like were more rational about like AIDS, that did like testing and like probably handed out condoms and that type of stuff. And in places like that, especially 20 years ago, probably would encounter the same challenges you're talking about. So, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's probably people out there who could help with that, problem solving, who's done it before. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've been in contact with people about the garage idea in the past. I just did this on the third show, and I think it's a show that a lot of people would enjoy. I just did a third show with Communal Sauce. And it's the newest one that's up. Well, there might be a new one up after that, and don't ask me. I think it's the Trillbillies. But, and we talked sort of about, she got me in contact with some people about it. And, you know, I still want to do it. I want to create, I do want to make it possible for people to have a place to go and hang out and talk to each other and drink beer and smoke weed and talk about socialism.
Hey,
it's not
before,
even like a
wrap up,
crazy
kids, want to hear a funny story about Keystone Light?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah. So, so my fondest memory of Keystone Light is I met this. I used to go on these. There's this place in Northeast Ohio called Nelson's Ledges, and they have all these like kiddie shows. And I used to hang out there a little bit, and I met this girl at one of these shows, and she like all she did was drink Keystone Light, and we'd hang out all the time. We'd drink a bunch of Keystone Light and hang out with like her friends group, and I like don't remember any of these people because all we do was get like super ripped off Keystone Light. But it was just such a great situation. It was so cool, and it's real chill. Until one day, we drank a bunch of Keystone Light, and we went back to her house that she lived with her mom, which we always did. And she busted out some Duster. All right.
Okay.
And we started huffing. Duster. Right. And I was like so fucking. She was drove too, so I would just get fucking trashed. Right. And I was already so fucking drunk. And she hands me this Huffer can. And I fucking take a huge hit out of it and just fucking just puke all over her bed. All fucked over her bed. And she never fucking returned my phone call after that.
That's not fair. That's
You
not
can't
fair.
do Duster.
Not fair.
I know, it's her fault. I stopped her. It was her fault. She
That's
got me
bullshit.
drunk on shitty
Can
beer
I-
and then
that's a-
fucking gave me dirty ass Huffer.
That's frustrating because, like, when you fuck around and do stuff with people, you're gonna see in some real pathetic situations and some real crazy shit's gonna happen.
Right.
And you need to be a comrade when that happens. You're like, no, it's fine. I puke too. It's fine.
Right.
Let's take a shower. Just get out. I'll
Yeah.
clean it up. No big deal. You don't want to like. Yeah, you don't want to banish somebody.
She probably still talks about him.
Oh,
You know she does, right?
Grody.
You know she like every year, like at a certain whenever somebody's talking about things they did when they were drinking, she's like, I had this fucking guy puke all over my bed. Can I ask you something?
Oh, and she absolutely admits the part where she handed me the can of Duster.
Yeah, can I ask you, just because at the beginning you said, so she just drinks Keystone Lights, do you mean that, like, that's the only activity she does, or that the only drug or alcohol she does is Keystone Lights? And Duster?
It was, no. We did, I met her on a bunch of fucking mushrooms. Like,
Okay.
we all, like, I mean,
met on
no.
shrooms.
Well, what I'm trying to, like, actually, that's another funny story. I met her at the show, and we go back to her tent, and we fool around, and like my tent had like 3 guys, and it was raining, right? And my tent was smelly and dirty and all this kind of shit. And she had this giant tent. It was clean and dry. And after we ended up, fooling around, she tried kicking me out of her tent, and I was like, "Fuck no! I'm staying right here in this goddamn tent right now." And she's like, "No, you gotta leave." I'm like, "No, I'm fucking staying right here." Because it was. It was already late at night. It was dry as shit. But the whole Keystone Light thing is that's like really I mean, that's a very fuzzy part of my life, right? And that's like that's the thing about her that stands out the most to me is like all the girl ever drank was fucking Keystone Light. I never saw her drink anything else other than like we would just buy like the 30 packs of Keystone Light and just like kill them. And like,
I thought she was a person that did 2 things: Keystone Light and Air Duster. That's like a cool selection of drugs.
yeah, sorry. All right, guys.
Thanks for calling.
I'm ranting now. Bye.
Who's next?
Next call.
Sure.
Good call.
You want some Keystone Lights?
I don't have any need for Keystone Light.
You ever had one?
Oh yeah, plenty,
Okay.
tons.
It's a very watery beer.
It's
It
turning
is.
into the street fight beer, so I
You
mean,
have to be seen with Keystone Lights now. With the can and the camo can.
I'm just saying that, like,
Do
so
make a
now
can.
now it's going to be a thing that comes up on the show a lot more. Like, but you don't. I mean, Brett's just not a Keystone Light guy. He can't ingest that
I
many
can
carbs.
shotgun one.
Yeah.
It's good for my muscles.
All at once.
Brett likes
Relax.
like strong beers, so you don't have to drink that much.
Yeah, I
of
like 2 beers now.
it. Yeah. Let's
You're not going to the bathroom.
Oh my
many
god,
times.
the queue is real full.
not peeing in the sink all the time. Yeah, get a call. Get this bread. Oh my God, what is happening? We might not get to all these tonight.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Oh, is it me?
It is.
Hey, what's up? This is Will in Colorado.
What's up, Will? How's it going tonight?
Oh, it's going all right. All my roommates are out, so I'm just sitting on the couch drinking.
Nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like how when people call them, like, yeah, just mostly sitting around drinking beer. It's always Sunday, too. It's like that Sunday scaries, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you call them for, man? Or fella?
I mean,
Partner, how you doing?
I have an opportunity to be on my community's housing foundation board as a student rep, and I was wondering if y'all had any experience with people who were, I guess, in housing advocacy or something like that.
The DSA here does a lot of it. They go and they talk to tenants' rights. They go to different. They went out to like a few. They went out to a few apartment complexes in Whitehall, and they talked to people about their rights as tenants. And you know what they found out? I mean, the thing that they told me when I had conversations with them about after canvassing is that people don't really know what their tenants' rights are, and they just feel like I can't say anything because this landlord's going to kick me out. That's what I know about it. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lawyer here in town. I live in a really small town, so we don't have like DSA or anything to help out with this stuff. It's mostly just like kind of well-meaning rich people who don't actually understand the problem because they own their homes and they don't rent homes with broken windows when it's negative 20 degrees outside, you know?
Yeah.
They're all LARPing as sovereign citizens, too.
That's mostly like the Texans who come up to ski, but the Coloradan rich people are mostly just like wealthy liberals who think they know what they're doing, but actually don't.
They're like whole thing.
guess in Colorado,
Like they're the type.
yeah.
They're like
Not in
NIMBY
Wyoming,
too, not in my backyard type people. Where it's like these poor people need a house, and they're like, well, not by my house. They don't. You know.
That's a NIMBY crowd.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like I live in a town. I live in a town called Gunnison, which is about a half hour from Crested Butte, which is one of the big ski areas. So all the people that work in Crested Butte at the restaurants and the ski areas and the resorts or whatever live here. But they don't want to build any fucking affordable housing, and they don't want to, like, you know, they don't understand that the people who work for them actually have to live somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, well, they think they should have to. Like, I feel sort of like the same way about even, like, in a lot of the cities now, there's not really anywhere for the people that work at Subway in downtown Columbus. There's not really in Columbus not a ton of places where they can live that is even within the area because they've like kind of gentrified all the like, and it seems like this in every city that like they gentrify the whole city, so then people have to be brought in to I guess they feel like, well, somebody's got to work at Subway, well, they'll commute, you know, and then come into the city or take the bus. And that's probably what they expect, is what I would imagine, you know, is that they're like, well, they'll find somewhere to live. And it's like, no, like, why can't they just live here? What are they doing to hurt you?
Yeah, because one thing I know about Colorado and towns like that is there's just so much vacant space, too. Because I spent time in Vail with my old friend, and we did bird work together in Arizona, but she copped out. She got a job at Marriott in Vail, and, yeah, she's one of the people you just talked about. And, yeah, like, housing it is bonkers expensive, and the only reason I can do what I do is because on the research crew, your housing's usually provided.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I work for an environmental nonprofit, so my housing is provided. But one of the reasons why they can't build new housing is because my county is 80% public land, so you have to go through all the federal processes to build anything. And there's endangered species. Caleb, you might be familiar with the sage grouse.
Oh, yeah.
Being a bird person. So,
God dang, endangered species. Now I can't log this town. I can't build my goddamn house that was going to be like the size of 2 of my houses currently. Oh my God, my wife ain't going to be able to open up her cupcake store. This government is driving me up the fucking wall.
It's that plus like people who think they can they should be able to ride their ATVs over whatever endangered species
right.
exists.
Yep.
That is. I was gonna say,
They
like, I
tear
thought
shit
you were gonna
up.
say it's people who think they should be able to ride their ATVs on the street, and I was gonna be like, buddy, I think that. Like,
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
well,
that's fine.
in small
Where's the
towns,
street
it's all
sport?
over
You
the
can't ride your
place.
4-wheeler.
yeah, hell yeah. I wish I could just get a 4-wheeler as my car.
that would rule
You
in
could.
Columbus.
In Columbus, can you do that?
Yeah,
Street-
pretty
legal?
Yeah, you could probably get street legal. Get some tags on that bad
You
boy.
have to have like lights and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Turn signal, headlight.
That's
Like,
How much is one of those run? Y'all know?
cheaper than your car.
Okay, I'm getting one. Next car, 4-wheeler.
Go to Polaris dealership. I'd like to go trade in your Kia at a
The
Polaris
fuel
dealership.
economy is pretty good too. It's just the tank is so small.
Next
Yeah.
car I get, 4-wheeler. You have the wife jump on the back and ride on dates with me. It's gonna be fucking sweet. Well, yeah. If anybody,
Ryan.
yeah.
There's a guy in my town that has a '87 Trans Am that has like a 2-foot lift kit and off-road tires. And
That's
if I
sick.
ever come into money,
Trans Am?
I will buy it for you, and you can use that for touring, because that would be the perfect street
That's
fight
your
car.
dune buggy, Brian.
That is the coolest car I can think of. I like it when people. You know what I'd really like is a Grand Am with monster truck tires on it, like a Grand Am lifted with monster truck
yeah.
tires on it. That would
Yeah.
be the touring car for Street Fight. Like juice up the engine a bunch and just like it's basically just a Grand Am frame which will fall apart anyway, you know. Well, if anybody comes to us that is involved in like housing activism, I will put them in contact with you. Just DM me your name, and I will get in contact with you. Okay.
I'm on the Facebook group, so I'm pretty easy to.
All right.
I see most of the stuff. So.
Cool. Just let me know.
I believe Carter in the Facebook group does LA Tenants Union stuff, so maybe just DM that guy too.
Yeah.
I know him. I can get in contact with him.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night. Next call.
Yeah, you too, man.
Next call. Next. Do you have music tonight?
I do.
Oh, good. Okay. Break after the next call, probably.
Yeah, I need a break.
What's up? It's Street Fight. Who's this?
Hey, yo, it's TGB with his wife Kate.
Oh!
We got a couple of topics. I appreciate the
It's Twitter's good
We got a
boy
couple
and
of us.
Twitter's good girl, our friends from Indiana.
That's right. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was just talking about, we were talking about like all the like gross stuff we had to chow down on, like when we were growing up. Cause we both grew up poor as fuck. I think I grew up poorer than Kate did,
Okay.
to be honest.
All right. We'll get you a
I
medal.
live in Alabama.
Brett
I
beats
grew
me.
up in Alabama in a trailer with a dad. He was a state employee, but he worked for the liquor board in Alabama. You have like a liquor board, so every hard liquor, anything harder than beer is against the state.
Okay.
So my dad worked for that. He was a total teetotaler, but he was selfish in every other way. He leased cars every year. He bought a bunch of Nike gear for himself, and then he would buy and then he would just those white chocolate Oreos, those chocolate covered Oreos that were
Hell
white
yeah.
chocolate.
Hell yeah.
That was the stuff he would buy them for himself because he knew my sister and my mom would need it.
So he would buy stuff for himself and then not let you guys have it? My parents did that too. I hate
No,
it.
Keep
he
your
would buy
snacks
it.
away.
He would we could eat it if we wanted. We could eat it if we wanted to, but he wouldn't. He knew we wouldn't. We weren't going to eat it. So he would just hold on to it.
You know, what my wife tells me about her dad all the time is that when they were kids, he would buy a 2-liter of Coke for himself, and nobody else was allowed to drink it, and he would take a pipe wrench and tighten the lid on the top so they couldn't get
my
get it
God.
off and drink it.
Oh my god!
That's funny. God.
Wowza!
This your Coke is mine.
Hey, I know what it's like I know what it's like though. Now that I'm a dad and my kid eats all my cool treats, and I'm like, whoa, hey, that was for me.
Right.
You know.
You don't get seconds.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, no, but like my mom, she had like our best interest in mind. Like my mom is a lovely woman, and my dad kind of turned into a good person too. But like my mom, like when we were growing up, my dad was like our sole income earner. He worked at the state. He probably pulled in maybe $3,000, a month but that was like for 4 people, and like we were living in a trailer that like his mother had left us. And so he was pulling, he was doing all this stuff, like he was, buying, like he was leasing a car here, and et cetera, et cetera. But like, yeah, my mom was trying to, like, still, like, she was going to school. And like, my mom, she's a teacher. She's a retired teacher now, but like, she went to school, like, really, she worked really hard for everything. But like, God bless her, she's not a really good cook. She would cook, like, they call it SOS. And I'm sure you know what that anagram means.
Yeah, shit on a shingle.
What
shit
is
on
it,
a shingle.
What is it?
That's ground beef, that's gravy of some kind. Kate, if you can, like, back me up on that. Okay, like, she's listening on delay. She's watching you guys on Twitch. Yeah, on toast. And you just put the gravy and beef on toast, and, like, that was a fucking meal.
Chipped beef on toast.
Also, like, yeah. And breakfast or dinner, which you guys had already talked about, which was, I was fine with that. That's always like a welcome thing, like pancakes and eggs and toast and bacon and stuff for dinner. That's awesome.
My dad would make pancakes.
But,
cake for dinner.
Yeah.
It's like a $3
the thing I hated the most. Yeah. And like the thing I still cannot get behind is the canned salmon. For like 50 cents a can.
Yeah.
Salmon patties. Salmon meat.
Holy
and there's like
shit.
these weird little like salmon vertebrae or something, like these little circular, like every patty had like 3 or 4 of these frickin' gross little like fish bones in them, like ground up. And like it smelled disgusting, and like I went back to do it, like drown it in ketchup.
Dude, my
parents
parents
choke it down.
My parents made those too. I haven't thought about those in years. I was mortified. First of all, not a fish guy. Wasn't a fish guy until like 2 years ago, and now I'll eat like tuna and stuff. But like, it was pink. And it just looked up like mashed up guts to me. And they would just make a patty and make it like a hamburger. And then they'd be like, oh, quit complaining. It tastes like a hamburger. And it's like, no, it doesn't. It tastes like gross fish to me. I know what it is. Like, my parents used to like try to fool you and be like, I just don't tell them what's in it. It's like, there are some things that I like genuinely just don't like. Like, my wife has sometimes... She recently told me that when she makes mashed potatoes, she puts sour cream in them sometimes. And I'm like, well, now every time I eat them, I'm going to taste the sour cream and not like it. And she was like, you've never said anything before. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I don't like the taste of sour cream, So my parents used to pull that shit where they'd be like, it doesn't have anything in it you don't like, and then you'd eat, like, with a salmon burger, it's like, it's just like a burger, and then you eat it, and you're like, this is vile. My parents used to also make, creamed eggs on toast, which was a really gross, like, they would hard-boil eggs, and then cut them, and then, like, put, I guess, cream and pepper and milk in them, and they would, like, make, like, a... they like reduce it down so it would just be like it would be creamy with hard-boiled eggs in it, and then they would give you a piece of toast and you would dump it. They would dump it on the toast, and like my parents, you had to eat dinner. Like you weren't allowed to not eat dinner. Even when I was 17 years old, I had to be home every night at 6 o'clock, and I had to eat what the dinner was. I wasn't allowed to pick something else. And they would make that, and like the trauma that I would just show as I was eating this, like it must have looked like somebody was holding a gun to my head, because I can totally remember sitting at a table and going like like tears coming down my face, just like I can't do it, I can't do it, and it just what a vile dinner that is. Or the last one I'll say
It's
is
like a total contempt for like what like your taste would be. Like bread is not going to eat cream anything.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to have creamed eggs on toast. So fuck you.
and another
That was-
another excellent one that we had was called Welsh Rarebit, and it was basically
that actually sounds good to me.
well, it was cheese. It was like it basically like Jason. It was like cheese sauce, right? Like it was just
Cheese whiz.
cheese. It basically was just cheese, and they would hand
It's
you
like
like
bechamel sauce, right?
yeah, and they would hand you like 3 pieces of white bread, and you just dip it into cheese, and that was dinner. And it was like, I don't know. That's a loose definition of dinner there.
That is running fast and loose.
I think my mom was like, she can't sit with meat. It was like protein. She's like, I'm being a good mother by feeding this to you, and you can't like tell me that like it's wrong. Like, if I'm giving you like protein and meat, like in kind, you know, you have to like, you know, I'm doing good by you.
Yeah.
And like
That's what it takes.
she
to
was, and honestly, she was. like looking back, I'm like, yeah, she was right.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
like,
think you
yeah,
should. I
still,
think you should.
no, it doesn't make it any better.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The only time salmon burger is acceptable is when you're backpacking and you're in the wilderness and you haven't like eaten anything all day and you just burnt like 3,000 calories.
Right.
You know, that's when it's like it's the best fucking thing in the world. The only time.
I don't know. It's still food. I think it's. I don't know. I think it's still food.
I'm with you. I mean, I get. Here's the thing I understand now that I didn't understand at the time when I was screaming because my parents were making me eat pea soup, like split pea soup, is that like there were 5 kids in the house. Most of the time, 4 kids in the house, all teenagers at the same time.
A lot of metabolism.
And they had to feed all those people when they probably didn't have as
Yeah.
much money. Like, because my parents didn't tell us when they didn't have money, but there had to be times where they had no money. And like, it was just like, at the time I got so mad about it, but now I sort of, I get it. Some of the stuff I feel like was some of the like they could have also done grilled cheese or like
also cheap,
there's a bunch of cheap beans and rice.
You're right. Welsh Rarebit is just a roundabout grilled cheese. I don't know why you would go to the point of melting it into a sauce.
I have something below Welsh Rarebit, which is when my mom, like my dad was still like putting in like the money for us. My mom went to school to be a teacher, and when she wasn't there, you know, my dad would still just buy the stuff that he wanted to eat. Like it was just stuff that like maybe we would eat, you know, besides that. But like, you know, it was ancillary stuff. But like we would eat, my sister and I, we'd have bread. There were like 3 things or 4 things that were like in the house all the time: bread, lettuce, and like mayonnaise and like salt and pepper. And so we would toast bread and put like a piece of lettuce in between that with salt and pepper mayonnaise and fucking eat that as like a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like it's better.
That was what?
Mayonnaise sandwich.
Look, it's better than a wish
It was
sandwich.
it was a lettuce, toasted lettuce sandwich or whatever, like whatever you call it.
No, the mayonnaise is the main event on that.
Yeah,
It was like
it's not a lettuce sandwich. It's a mayonnaise sandwich. It's
oh no, I had a kid who lived in the street from us. Like a super, like I was in Alabama, but this dude was like in Alabama, like a long, like A on it. Yeah. This dude came from like, and they had like a homemade dune buggy, like dad had welded, and they would like race up and down the street. This yellow, like welded, like just rebar dune buggy.
That sounds awesome.
But, we went like a football or whatever, like in the afternoon, like you know, like a backyard football. We go to his house. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Michael?" His name was Michael. It was Michael. Like, what are you eating, Michael? Mayonnaise sandwich.
Yeah.
And like that's all we say. Like, okay.
It is.
Like we just accepted it.
I will say this, and it's one of the earliest podcast stories ever. It was on our first podcast, but I used to hang out with this kid TJ when I was growing up, and me and my brother went over to TJ's house, and we were doing whatever we were doing, playing all day. And then we were like, I'm hungry, man. I'm about to go home. But he didn't want us to leave. So he's like, I'm going to get you a snack. So he set the oven to 350 or something, and then he poured dry macaroni on a cookie sheet and put salt on it and baked it for like 10 minutes and then brought it out and was like, look, it tastes just like pretzels. And just sitting there eating
Baked noodles?
baked dry macaroni noodles.
Tastes like pretzels. God, that's good.
I would call those. I mean, that's better than a Wish sandwich. Did you ever get told to eat a Wish sandwich when you were a kid? Grab 2 pieces of bread and wish there was something in the middle.
Sounds familiar though.
All my friends' dads and my dad, they would be like, "Why don't you have a Wish sandwich? Get 2 pieces of bread and wish there was something in the middle." So, fuck you.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah. I mean, for candy, there was a period of time where for candy, because we never had candy around the house, and plus back in this time, like all it was if you wanted fruity candy, it was like Starburst, Skittles, and hard candies, you know. And for a period of time, I was licking my finger and sticking it in the Kool-Aid powder, and then licking it again.
Yeah.
Pixie stick.
Oh,
Very
so you
common.
had Fun Dip?
Yeah, it
That's
was
like
Fun
the real
Dip.
cheap Fun Dip?
Yeah.
By the way, hi, it's Kate.
Yeah, Weiler's brand Fun Dip.
God,
Scott just handed the phone to me, so hi.
Hi.
What's up?
You got any gross foods that your parents used to make you eat?
My dad once, so the only thing you could cook when my mom wasn't there was ramen.
Okay.
And
Standard.
so I had an early hatred and then, resurgence love of ramen. But most of the time when he made it, he put way too little water in there, so it would be this weird brick. When he served it to us, we would have to eat ramen with a fork and a knife.
You know what, Kate? I'll just say this. This dude hit me to this, and I know this is going to sound dumb now when I say it, but you take the ramen in the whole brick, and then you put a bunch of water in a container, like a Tupperware, and you put it in the microwave for whatever the microwave directions say for the amount of time. You take it out, and then this was the secret that he had: drain all the water and then just pour the chicken packet on the thing. He's like, you get so much more flavor.
That's the thing. From an early age, I learned, okay, that's not how you make ramen. You take the brick, the 49-cent or 39-cent or 29-cent, depending on the sale. Depending on the sale and depending on the mart. You put it in, and I'll add random crap. We've got garlic salt. We've got curry powder. We've got paprika. Scott is yelling to me from the bathroom. Just random crap into the thing, and we'll do that, and it tastes so much better. And I didn't learn to do that until, I swear to God, 2 years ago.
Right, you get...
I spent 29 years eating just basic ramen that was shitty, and then I learned that I could add things to ramen, even though it wasn't, the big egg, ramen, look at all the different things on it, pretty ramen at the restaurants. And
Right,
I could still make things that were tasty.
That pretty ramen, the real ramen now, the authentic type ramen that you
yeah.
can get at a store, that's really only been in
they
Ohio.
can all go to hell.
That hasn't been in the Midwest for very long.
Ohio ramen is fucking terrible. I hate to be a snob about it, but I've had some big city ramen before, and the shit that I had in Upper Arlington was fucking awful.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't awful. It was just really basic.
That's your rapper name, Big City Ramen.
I usually add when I'm boiling my water, I put Brussels sprouts in there. I usually throw a bunch of extra vegetables in, and then put a shitload of hot sauce. That's how I doctor up my ramen.
Damn, I'm gonna do that now.
I mean, if we have extra stuff like bacon or ham, or usually if I have especially pork or pulled pork or beef or roast or something laying around, those are the two I love best to just throw in.
Dude, spinach is good as hell.
I haven't had ramen in years now because I don't
buy
know
top
what it
ramen.
was.
Don't buy the cheap ones. Just go to
Maruchan.
Get a decent one.
You don't want me to buy the Maruchan kind? No. I thought it was Marquand.
Is that
But
a C?
I just, yeah, I'm just, like, those kinds of things, ramen never got old to me, and I'll be honest with you, I'll bet you somebody could, I'd have to be in a really weird spot in my life, but I think I would eat SpaghettiOs and meatballs again.
SpaghettiOs are good. I eat those all the time.
Really?
My daughter never finishes the can, so I'm always up behind her just like...
Yeah.
But that is some sweet
the
sauce.
can.
It is so sweet.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Wait a second. We're talking about cheat meals.
Yeah.
My most shameful cheat meal is taking a can of Campbell's soup, opening the top, and just eating it with a fork out of the can and drinking the juice as I go along.
Oh, God.
I'm not cooking it.
Jason,
I'm not cooking it. It's just out of the can.
I will say that I have seen Jason eat a lot of Chef Boyardee just right out of the can with a knife, like
Scott
in the
does
house too, just in the house.
Right.
You know what was a weird thing I ate a lot when I was a kid that I can't imagine why I did it, and I'll bet you everybody in this room did it. Raw hot dogs.
Oh yeah. Because there's nothing else, and you're hungry as fuck.
I mean, they're already cooked. Why not?
Yeah, I'm just gonna heat it up.
Pull it out of the refrigerator, a raw hot dog, and start gnawing. I used to know a dude that would eat raw potatoes, like russet potatoes.
That's
He'd
too
clean
much.
them off and peel them.
God.
He'd take the peel off and he'd just put salt on it and just chew.
Not a
and
good
eat
idea.
I don't think it sounds
They
good.
really transform in the cooking process.
I did that.
You've done that?
I did that.
It's like a.
My mom was into it. And she did the thing. She peeled it, and she put the sauce on it, and she's like, here.
It's like an apple without any sweetness,
Yeah.
basically. It's like you take all the sweetness out of the
It's
apple.
like a savory apple.
Mark
Well,
it
Kate-
as.
Kate, it's good to hear from you, too. Call us more, please.
You too. Thank you for having us both on. Sorry that we double teamed you.
No
but-
problemo. We love it.
It's those two
Thanks for
different
calling.
Mine, regular dinner, but this wasn't even bad. I loved it. Like the thing about, like my mom did. She's a pleaser.
And she's a good cook, too. She's
Not a good cook.
Okay, she's
Fine,
close.
She's a great fucking baker.
She's
Her baked
done-
goods will drive you. I mean, everybody talks about it.
Right. I know she's done catering and shit like
Yeah.
that. So I know she
But-
knows the basic concepts of cooking.
And what kids want is buttered noodles.
That's
Just
true.
fucking noodles, put butter, and then get up the sprinkled cheese. A whole bunch of sprinkled cheese. Dinner is done.
Do you know there
You
was
don't
a
have to bother
time?
it with expensive pasta sauces anymore.
There was a time where you couldn't get the sprinkled. The sprinkled cheese is relatively new too.
No, it's not.
The mac and cheese?
No, hell no. We're talking about the original Parmesan
Yeah.
powdered
Oh.
cheese.
Kraft
Nobody's
Parmesan.
walking around with a Kraft macaroni and
You
cheese
can get
shake.
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, I remember when that
shakers.
came out. We got it when it came out.
My dude used to collect. He used to just buy the macaroni and cheese so he could get the powder and just throw the mac and cheese away so he could put it on his popcorn.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's
now
interesting.
I'm listening.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a good hack. It's a lot of effort. I like regular popcorn, so...
A lot of waste too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's not. I mean, I guess you could keep the macaroni and make something else with it too.
it's true. You can put butter on those noodles.
Yeah.
You could, you know what you could do with that macaroni, really, is you spread some out on a cookie sheet, make it about 350, and pour some salt on it, and you got yourself a TJ.
Tastes just like pretzels.
All right, we're gonna hit a break. We're gonna get back. A lot of calls in the queue, so
Yeah, a lot
who
of
knows
people.
what happens.
Just-
This
Machine
is
gun 'em.
this is a group from Seattle, Washington. Actually, they are an art and music collective called Spellabee Space. You can find them at spellabespace.bandcamp.com. It's SPELLABEESPACE.bandcamp.com. Enjoy.
Oh my god.
Oh no! Please be loud enough. Okay.
I'm like crazy thinking about that salmon patty. I forgot all about it. I haven't thought about a salmon patty since I was a teenager, and I'm furious about it.
The thing about it though is that salmon patty is like Asian food. It's really fun. So the bastardized like American fast food. You know, it's the same thing now. Like, oh, Mexican people just put a hamburger in a fucking shell. You know, that's what they eat.
Walking around the freely without feeling needy. Look at all the kind
Yeah, no, I know.
Nations of nomads, everything you choose to believe. Oh, get together, let's not be bleak. How you feel now? How you feel now? How you feel now that I'm moving so fast? What's the deal now? What's the deal now? What's the deal now that I've got so far? How you feel now? How you feel now? How you feel now that I'm moving so fast? What's the deal now? What's the deal now? What's the deal now that I've got so far?
How you feel now? How you feel now? How you feel now? What's the deal now? How you feel now? How you feel now? How you feel now? What's the deal now?
How you feel now? How you feel now? How you feel now that I'm moving so fast? What's the deal now? What's the deal now? What's the deal now that I've got so far?
I am so large, I have so much in me. Pour it out for the world to see. I am so large, I have so much in me. Pour it out for the world to see.
Burn me at the stake, just please don't skip away. Tear me all apart, just please spare my heart. Run me in the ground, oh I won't say a sound. Take my body, take my blood, take my body, take my blood.
I am so large, I have so much in me. Pour it out for the world to see. I am so large, I have so much in me. Pour it out for the world to see.
Lungs are meant to breathe and eyes are meant to see. What else do bodies do but move up next to you? Are you ill? Are you still wasting all your time? Oh, give it up and slow it down. Give it up and slow it down.
be what you want me to be. I will never see what you want me to see. So follow me, or I'll follow you. It doesn't matter to me, as long as it's true. I'm darling, I'm just yours. I'm just yours. I'm just yours. I'm just yours. Do you know that it's okay to like me in that halfway? Do you know that it's alright to want to hold me tight?
Just have my 111th best day.
Is it still playing?
Looks like something's going.
Very much left to see. Wasted time and tumbleweeds. There ain't much left to see. Without action, you'll never leave. What's been going on? I've been gone so long. What's been going down? Hanging around this town. So go back to where they know you, the ground you tread, with little ghost stairs, weeping clean. But darling, it seems that time forgets just what it brings. What's been going on? I've been gone so long. What's been going down? Hanging around this town. I met you one time, you never left my mind. You met me one time, you just said goodbye. Give me a reason to finish this season. Give me a reason to keep on believing. You hold me back and I won't attack. You hold me up and I say it's not enough. There's nothing better in this life than knowing that you chose right. There's nothing better in this life than putting up a good fight. So tell me, please, tell me all about now. Tell me, please, what's it all about now? Tell me, please, tell me all about now. Tell me, please, what's it all about now? What's it all about now? What's it all about now? Come around here or I'll meet you there. You know they call it weak affairs. I've spent this troubled youth singing about truth, and now I've got nothing left to lose. So how's about, girl, you sing too? You know I love to hear you croon. Oh, what's been going on? I've been gone so long. What's been going down? Hanging around this town.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Street Fight Radio. You can find more of that music at spellabspace.bandcamp.com. That was actually a group called The Pathetic and Elegant. This album is Golden Laurels. You were listening to Bloodworth Bottling and Move 2. So head over to Spellabee, S-P-E-L-L-A, spellabspace.bandcamp.com to check out more of that music. And if you're in the Seattle area, look them up. Give them some support. I do want to let people know we are going to be in Seattle, Washington this Saturday. We're going to be at the Clockout Lounge. Tickets are available. They are going fast. We are doing a general admission show. There aren't going to be any seats. We sold out of the seats so quickly that we figured people would be mad if they didn't get in. So it's going to be standing room only, general admission. There's going to be a whole fuck ton of people there. It's going to be rowdy, and it's going to be a really good show. Just based upon how many tickets we've sold so far, This shit's going to be, you know, some of our best stuff. So it's going to be a really good time. I suggest you get out there. And on Sunday, January 6th, we'll be in Portland, Oregon at Lola's Room at the Crystal Ballroom. We're going to be at Old Nick's Bar in Eugene, Oregon on January 7th. Eugene, please show up. Tell everybody you know. Eugene, you got to show up. We've heard a lot about you. We're excited to come out. So be there. On January 9th, we're going to be in Oakland, California. That's going to be an amazing show. We got Brace Belden coming. We got Kumar Salahi coming. It's going to be another fucking gigantic show. Lots of good times, lots of street fighting. We're going to be at the Golden Bull Bar. And someone asked me to mention this, so I will. There is a all-vinyl DJ crew promoting leftist street culture out of the Golden Bull Bar. So if you go to Instagram and you look for Left of the Dial Oakland, Instagram.com/Left of the Dial Oakland, you can give them a follow. They do a show once a month where you can hang out, meet like-minded people, and listen to some good music. We are Street Fight Radio, coming to you live from the Free Press Studios here in Columbus, Ohio. We are on WCRS FM. You can find it on the radio dials 92.7 or 98.3. If you're inside 270, that's how you can listen to the best community radio that there is. It's WCRS. Once again, we are part of the Pacifica Radio Network, and we are Street Fight Radio. We're taking calls tonight, and we got a lot of people in there. So I think as long as this computer doesn't freeze up, we should take the next call.
I like it. I like that idea.
It would be great, but it might not happen.
Computer. That's not a good sign. You want to give it? How long's it been froze?
I haven't been paying attention, but I think just now is when it started.
All right, let's give it a secco here and see what happens. You know, you never know. Did you see that article? Who sent it? Stefan posted the other day about that woman from Vail, Colorado that went there.
A little bit, yeah.
No.
I think I did read it.
I guess we could read this real quick.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun. We'll see if the computer comes back. I hope we don't have to reboot because that puts us in a whole situation.
Yeah, you have to.
So we'll see.
People would have to call back in.
Yep.
Yeah, we might just have to end it if we have to reboot. I think that would be the way to go. Come on, computer. Is there like a Control-Alt-Delete on a Mac?
Yeah.
What's the sticky key or whatever?
Okay, this is from a New Yorker, a person from New York, and I think we're gonna go. I'll go ahead and read this. It's opening. This is from unofficialnetworks.com, and it is. Dear Vail Resorts, let me explain to you why I will not be returning to this resort anytime in the near future and will indicate to other families on online forums that they should decline to come to Vail as well.
Okay, she's going to spread some nasty rumors on the online
Here we
forums.
go. Yeah, we're naming names, hopefully.
I'm going to go to your manager. Not only can I speak to a manager, but I'm also definitely going to post this on the internet.
I'll ruin your fucking name on Foursquare.
As you are aware, marijuana is now legal in Colorado. I have been visiting Vail and Beaver Creek for many years now with my family and enjoyed all my years here with no real problems. We have a lot of memories here. Within the span of several days, my son and I were exposed to numerous conversations on buses, gondola rides, and restaurants related to, guess what? Recreational drug use. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh no, what are we going to do about these recreational drug use?
I know, it's terrible, it's terrifying. What is happening here? These people this woman's children are being subjected to adult conversations.
Right. So I take it that people are throwing up all over the streets, fighting, getting in car accidents. This place has just been turned into shambles, right?
Well, the fact that people are restricted to smoking pot in the privacy of their room doesn't mean that they won't reek of pot on gondola rides, or that they won't be talking about getting high with numerous other substances within earshot of numerous families.
Your perfume don't smell any better.
I know. Don't want anyone to smell your gross perfume either, okay?
Right.
New York lady.
And how long does it last?
I mean, the smell?
Yeah.
Who cares? But I will say this. Everybody in Denver smelled like weed.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty prevalent.
But it doesn't... Who cares, right?
She cares.
This is the same type of person that probably drinks wine in front of her kid.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
You know?
there's plenty of we're going to get smashed
Yeah,
up on the
because-
slopes.
Yeah. We're talking about, oh, yeah, you know, when you go up there, you can drink on less because it's high air pressure and stuff like that.
She could go into the Rockies. They tap the Rockies.
I know.
to
They
make-
actually tap them.
to make beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're skiing down the side of a fucking very serious substance.
Imagine feeling bad or being mad because people smell like something.
Yeah, you don't have. You're not forced to hang out with them.
I know. Nobody's saying you have to. Now we got to tolerate these marijuana heads.
Well, because she's just thinking these people smell like this because they never leave the house and play Call of Duty 4 all day.
But these are people that are skiing and
I know,
living in an
active.
active way. They're allowed to do what they want to do too. It's not illegal and it's not wrong.
No, I know. That's what it is too. She's applying this thing because it says like they're doing drugs. They smell like they're doing drugs, and it's like,
She might.
I mean, the evidence is showing it's not a drugs like from the movie Drugs. You know.
Well, and when you talk about drugs, it's like the only reason it's a drug is because people. Because the government said it's a drug. The government said this is a drug.
Wait, it's all scheduled.
And people are now like, well, yeah, it's a drug. Of course, it's actually a drug.
Well, it was a drug when I was growing up.
Yeah.
You know?
Within the span of 2 to 3 days, I had at least 3 to 4 separate occasions in public areas where I had to specifically ask people to not talk about their drug use. Now you're the problem.
Yeah. You're killing people's buzz, lady.
You're the problem here.
Yeah,
That people, nobody else cared. Did anybody else on the gondola care? Were people sitting on the gondola like, oh, I wish these people would stop like having a conversation? You know? What a horrible problem this person is.
I know, it's just making them up, really. It's just getting triggered for no reason.
People were obviously put off by my asking them to stop, and I was furious to even be put in this situation. You weren't put in a situation.
Yeah.
Nobody put you in that situation.
Chill out.
You put yourself in that situation.
This
we're
isn't-
probably, if you're on the lines, we're probably going to have to cut it because this computer's locked up, and I don't want to make people call back in and stuff. Well, I feel bad about that, though, too. And we're going to lose all this audio.
No, we won't. It'll go on the stream, and we can pull it from the stream.
Oh, well, then let's just do a show, and then, if the computer...
I can reboot, and we can try to get people to call back.
Go ahead and reboot, see if people want to call back, and then as long as we're getting the audio. But while you're rebooting, let's read more of this.
I'm not sure I know how to reboot this thing.
I think the public debate on allowing pot to be sold is completely off. The people who live this type of lifestyle can't afford to support resorts like Vail that frankly cater to a demographic more like my own. And candidly, you don't get to be successful by engaging in that type of lifestyle.
This is her made-up fantasy, dude. This is just
vile reactionary, just mindset.
It doesn't. I mean, it's just that you're not dealing with reality because you're at your prestigious Vail, Colorado thing. Everybody there is fucking blazed up, and then you're trying to sell us on the idea that people with money don't smoke weed. You know?
Yeah, right. Because it could be some type of attitude to, in really stupid lines of thinking, it'd be ways of introducing people of color into your community via drug use.
Yeah, they
because that all that shit's contagious.
Sure.
Apparently to them.
But then also it just is this the idea that she just doesn't know who is at those fucking dispensaries because
that too.
It's nurses, it's fucking lawyers, it's teachers,
suits, everybody.
Every fucking body, dude. I mean, I've met so many weed moms. I'm very open about it because it's just something we have to get out of the way because if I'm dealing with somebody like this, I just don't want them in my life. So that's the first thing out of my mouth. It's not the first thing out of my mouth, but if it comes up, I'm immediately upfront about it. Like, this one lady said, someone smelled like weed in there, and I was like, oh, that was probably me.
Well,
and that
you-
gets it out of the way. And they were like, "Oh, you smoke too?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, I thought I was the only one." I'm like, I've only met parents that are on like medicated weed brownies all fucking day, or they get all the treats flown in. They get like cashew crunches flown in and shit.
Ooh.
Do fucking housework, make food all day, you know, or go to a fucking job and crush it.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. I mean, basically, if people know what we do, then we have to be honest about it anyway.
Right.
But, like, no, and like you said, these people are at the same prestigious resort that you're at.
Yeah, they had to pay to do that. They didn't just get on there because they were cool dudes that smoked weed.
Yeah.
I've been to the town. You have to buy like a ski pass that is like, oh shit, could be $200.
But it's not like you can't, like, that, to say they can't afford this lifestyle. Do they know how much that prestigious weed costs? Like,
yeah, it takes a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not
weed.
cheap. I might have to do the call-in thing again. The people who why am I going to pay to come to a resort where my son is exposed to these sorts of things? I don't want him skiing or going anywhere on his own. He's a teenager, and why should he be shaped by these types of conversations? I want to say this right now. I am a father of a daughter, okay? And I don't think it's fair to expect the whole world to have to live. Are they still there?
Looks like they are.
I don't expect the whole world to have to live a certain way because I have a kid and I have hang-ups. That's not fair to people without them.
No, I expect myself to... I expect for me to be responsible for my kid and to explain to her what the future may hold and what's going to happen if you do some stuff and why I would rather not see her do certain things. Whatever it may be. Join a fucking religion, you know?
Yeah.
Like anything.
Yeah.
It's just... I am going to do my best, but it's their fucking life, and if they disagree with you, you got to deal with that too.
Yeah, and using it as using occasions that are uncomfortable as a way to have a conversation with your kid about something that maybe is difficult that's the way to do it. You have to do it.
Perfect.
I just was talking to Gwen last night about when I first talked to her about drugs, when I had to talk to her about drugs because, you know, it was just getting to the point where she was going to go to school. And I kind of, I was like, you know, and she remembers the conversation. She said, we were right in front of Alexander's walking to Kroger and you stopped and you stopped the conversation and made me talk about it. And she said she was like really grateful that I was honest to her about it instead of like just saying something like, well, I'm an adult and I'm allowed to do whatever I want and things like that. Like I had a real conversation about drugs with my daughter. And guess what, dude? I did that when she was like 8. You know, because she was about to go to school and learn about drugs. They were about to learn about drugs, so I said, I need to have a conversation with her before they do it. And my wife said, yeah, it'd be better if you had it. And then I did it. And
yeah, it's up front.
And I think it was important to have that conversation, to raise her in a world that these things aren't closed off. These aren't dead issues or subjects. These are subjects that come up, and when you're older, they're going to come up in the real world. Like when this teenager is a teenager, right? They know about weed. They listen to rap songs about weed. All the music my daughter listens to talks about drugs. Every single song, and she's even mentioned, like, yeah, they talk about drugs, and it's like, so they know about this stuff. It's not something that's just coming out of the ether to them. And you're not shielding them from anything by especially making a big stink in public about somebody else doing what they want to do. Because that's really what it is. She's the problem here.
Yeah.
These people that were talking about weed on a gondola are not the problem. They're allowed to talk about what they're doing. I mean, I don't use law as some arbiter of morality, but I will say it's legal. I'm allowed to do this, and I'm allowed to talk about this. And if I should be allowed to live my life the way that you're allowed to live your life, like yelling at people and complaining about everything.
Right. And your kid will figure out if you truly believe every weed user is some loser, I mean, then the evidence will will weigh itself out for your kid, but it's fucking not going to.
Yeah.
They're going to meet a million different successful people that smoked fucking weed when they were a kid, and are now have great lives. You know.
Okay, so not only this, but it's a safety hazard. Do you think I want people speeding by me on the slopes who were high the evening before?
They all are though. You did it though. You're. She's acting like she went there and got so afraid because of what was going on, she had to leave. But she went, did the thing, and then made up a fantasy about how dangerous it was for her to be there.
People were skiing high since skiing's been a thing.
Ever since they let the snowboarders in.
Like, there are people that have probably never skied without being high.
Oh, yeah. And it actually, it's a performance enhancer. I know people think it makes you slow and stupid, but it makes you focus on really, really simple tasks.
Oh, yeah. I really recommend you get this situation under control as quickly as possible because word will get out to families very quickly. At this point, I'm very much inclined to go to Utah for my vacations instead of Colorado.
Sounds perfect for you. Yeah, you found your tribe.
Go to fucking Park City. Fuck you.
Leave us alone and go where there's no booze or anything.
You can't be a destination resort for high earners and a pot town at the same time.
Pot town.
You have to choose.
Has she ever seen an episode of Vice? There's people that are housing like $200 THC chicken wings.
I know. The high earners thing.
Val people are eating like $500 THC fucking meals.
I know. I want to do that when we're in California. I want to go to one of those restaurants that cooks with weed really bad. I don't know if I can find one, but I've seen chefs on TV that do it.
I just read something about lounges are coming too, so we're gonna have to go back.
Oh yeah, we're going back definitely already. We know that. The ticket sales mean we're going back. But yeah, I just, it's nothing. There's nothing that, it's not an illegal thing. It's not a wrong thing to do, and it's definitely not more wrong than alcohol. Which I'm sure she was never had a problem with them cracking open a beer.
Yeah.
And stuff, or like drinking beer, and never had a problem with somebody saying, "I'm gonna go have I'm gonna go have a cold beer to their son." You know what I mean? Like around her son. She didn't say to somebody like, "Excuse me, please don't talk about having an ice cold sixer in front of my son," or don't talk about, to use a Nick Weiger word, don't talk about brew dogs in front of my child.
Right.
Let's get the callers back on.
Couple brewskis.
We did it. We did it. We got it all back.
Let's hope. Thanks for calling Street Fight. How's it going?
Oh boy. Didn't expect that. How's it going, guys?
Great. How are you tonight?
I'm doing awesome. This is Robert in St. Louis.
All right, Robert.
Security guard guy.
Oh, I know you.
Yeah. I got like, leading up to this, like, I got real nervous because, like, Elizabeth called in and then the guy after them, and, like, they talked about a lot of, like, relevant shit that, like, I wanted to talk about, but, it made me real nervous. The food thing, so my mom used to make me, she would cook rice and then put butter and sugar in it.
Ooh,
butter and sugar. Yeah,
that's a good.
That's good. You should put some brown sugar in there.
Yeah, my mom would do that. Brown sugar. That shit ruled.
Yeah, well, I made it once, and my wife was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "Oh, well." And then she used to take like saltine crackers and then like just sprinkle like garlic salt and like put like shredded cheese on them and then bake them.
And that is weird.
Those
but
are
good.
a snack.
We used to
yeah,
do,
those are awesome.
I used to do the Ritz crackers with the bologna and cheese.
Ew.
You could punch out like a hole.
Like a high class.
You could punch out a hole in the bologna with the cracker.
Gross.
Ooh, fancy.
And then
Yeah, it
also
sounds like a high class lunchable.
That's a hiker treat, really, right? But that's what that is. It sounds great.
Yeah, I
Summer
also
sausage.
Hot sauce on saltines, one of my favorites. I'll still get a couple of those if I see it.
Never heard of that.
I like it.
I mean, you can technically put saltines in anything you put French fries in.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, shit.
I mean,
saltines are cheap French fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this friend, my best friend in middle school. His name was Don L. and he was a like Jehovah's Witness, and like he was like always bummed out like during like the holidays and shit. But he used to come in with like this blue powder underneath his nails, and I was like, what are you doing? And he used to tell me that in the morning on his like walk to school, he would get a pack of Kool-Aid and Wildberry Pop-Tarts, and then like I guess sprinkle the Kool-Aid on top of them. And whenever he would eat them, it would cake it underneath his nails.
That is
I'm
sweet,
like, yo,
sweet treat.
Stop with that.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
That's Donnell likes sweets. He's a big sweets fan.
Yeah.
You know what is a good one
Yeah,
too? I had recently rice pudding, like the arroz con leche, because you can make that with just rice and milk and sugar and cinnamon.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a good cheap dessert.
My mom used to made that for me once, and then every time I asked her after that, she said no. I was like, geez. I didn't live with her very much. I was on a trip to her house in Kansas, and she was like, I'm going to make you guys rice, and we watched Rocky IV together. It's like a good mom memory for you.
That's great.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, my mom actually. I like wrote down some shit that way I didn't get sidetracked because I got caught up like doing chores and shit. But my mom painted the guy that called in talking about the landlord shit. My mom painted our living room in this apartment that we had. She just painted the living room one day, and then the landlord came by and saw it, and they were like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "Well, I wanted it to be blue," and like. She was like, "Are you gonna like kick us out or anything?" And he's like, "Well, no, but like you can't do that." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then like he just left. And what sucks about that is that like later on, I mean, my mom moved out and like it didn't fucking matter, you know. But she's like pretty rebellious, and she was like coming up to the 2016 election. I was like, "Well, who are you voting for?" You know, and she's like, "I haven't voted ever." She's like, "I'm a socialist," and I was like, "Oh shit, dude, my mom's like fucking metal, right?" So then, whenever the election actually comes around, she votes for Donald Trump.
Oh,
and I'm like, "Dude, what happened there? Like, you had it right. Like, you were right the first time." Like,
she an accelerationist? Your mom turned into
no,
an accelerationist.
I mean. Well, her husband's from Louisiana, and he's we wound up talking at Thanksgiving, and he was like, "Well, I really wish that Ted Cruz would have won the election." And I was like, "Oh, okay, like no wonder."
Imagine wishing Ted Cruz was the guy
Ted Cruz was your guy in the primaries.
Like, I would have loved to vote for Ted Cruz.
Right now,
I admire Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I'm like, God, dude. Like, of all the people, like...
Ted Cruz looks like his head is a bag of flour, is what he looks like to me. It's my Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
he's so angular.
Yeah, he's weird. Like, I'm not gonna, like, get on here and, like, you know, call him a bug and shit, you know? Like, I'm not trying to, like, do that, but, like, for real, he is, like, extraterrestrial. Like, I enjoy watching him, like, in the same way that, like, I like to get fucked up and, like, watch Alex Jones, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And, like, just hear the shit that he says where I'm like, oh, my God, like,
he is
dude,
ultimately
come on.
entertaining, unfortunately.
Yeah, you find out, like, how far people can go with their beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the way. If you have the Constitution to handle that, so I don't mean to say it like you're tough or anything. I'm just saying, like, if you're a person that can sit and listen to, like, really bad ideas, then that stuff isn't. I mean, like, I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh, and I did act sort of conservative at that period of my life, but, like, even after I didn't identify as a conservative person, I still listen to Rush Limbaugh because he's good at radio. You know, when somebody's good at it, they make it effortless to listen to. You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, like, some power to, like, broadcasting, and, like, there's a reason that these people, like, have the platform that they do, you know?
Some of them. I think there are a lot of them that are just, like, some conservative guy in town has a buddy that he thinks is really funny, and he knows a guy at the radio station. I definitely think some of these are like charity cases for the conservative establishment, like a lot of those writing jobs they get that the Chapo guys will talk about. Where like this guy makes a ton of money to just sit around and write like inane opinions about pornography and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I just mean more like personalities, I guess, right?
Yep.
And like some of them, yeah, I give you that. Like some of them are real weird, like fucking Ben Shapiro. Like I don't get that. It's the opposite of everything that you guys stand for.
He's
but
a
like
nerd.
he does the right thing.
He's a huge
nerd.
nerd.
That's what I'm saying. Like.
It's like people that call Donald Trump the blue-collar president. They're the same people that like Ben Shapiro and think he's really, like, a cool dude. Because, you know, a lot of those people really think that, like, when you look at the videos that your conservative people on your Facebook share, and you see how they share the Ben Shapiro videos, like, they think he is, like, really cool. Like that he... I'm trying to think of who the analog is to him. Like,
he's like the real Sheldon.
No, they don't think Sheldon's cool though.
Oh yeah, that's
you
true.
know what I mean? Like they man, give me a Don Draper. He's like they think he's like really like, oh, this guy's got it all figured out.
Yeah,
because he says everything with such confidence, and anything you say with confidence, there's a certain amount of people that are like, oh, okay, yeah.
It's the white guy voice from Sorry to Bother You.
And if that's what they want to hear too, I mean, if he's saying something that is in line with them and it sounds like it's smarty pants, they're like, yeah, what he said. Yeah.
Well, they look for a reason, right? Like they look for somebody to justify like the way that they feel.
Yes.
Because like they, like there's a certain level of like discomfort. And really, like anything with, politics, like, on the left, it's more like how fucking futile everything is, and then like climate change, just like the struggle, right? And then on the right, it's that kind of shit where, their discomfort is knowing that knowing that what they feel like fundamentally is wrong, but they need something to make it justifiable to them, right?
Well,
and
what they believe is ugly. What they believe is ugly, and they need somebody to tell them that it's not ugly to feel that way, is what I think.
Well, and that's what I'm getting into, because the one guy earlier brought up Jordan Peterson. And I was actually going to call in kind of New Year's talking about postmodernism a little bit, right? And kind of shout out to Elizabeth because I don't really read that much, right? And I know that I should, but I don't. Especially shit like that. I'm reading American Psycho now for the first time, and thank God that I'm reading it now as opposed to when I saw the movie. But.
I do like that.
And I do. Yeah, and it's crazy because that is textbook postmodernism that that's what it is by whatever Jordan Peterson tries to use it for, I guess. He's just problematic, right? And I don't read that much, but I mean I just listen to podcasts all day. I have 12 hours in a car, but I do. I drive around and that's and but one of the ones I listen to, philosophy podcast, they talk about pushing through that and kind of what comes after that, and it kind of plays into what Brian's saying there as far as they just need to be told that it's wrong, but it's okay, not okay to feel that way,
it's
there's
justified.
A lot of nuance.
It's justified. It's
it's
perfectly
exactly,
rational, and there's smart college people, and there's people that wear Oxford shirts that also believe that my racism is justified.
Yes.
Well, and every
By
everything
homophobia.
growing up, you're taught to think one way, and a lot of these people. Think that they're finding out something new, but they're still I always talk about my brother's a Webster, and I always argue with them. And whenever he brings up shit like Antifa and everything, and I was I don't know how you can talk shit on these people if you dislike the state. The state defends itself against the socialists and defends the fucking nationalists. It's or the fascists, and that's a broad term, I don't want to, but for the sake of argument, you know what I mean? And it's like, you can't logically justify that, you know, and the loops that you're trying to jump through to justify, like, what your eyes are seeing, and, like, it's not worth it. You don't have some kind of hidden knowledge that the rest of us don't have.
There's not
you
a
know what I
vested
mean? Like,
interest
we're
there.
seeing the same thing. And, but yeah, that's off topic. Well, I mean, it's on topic, but I'm just saying, like, in 2019, kind of like moving forward, right? And, like, I know social media, like, it's like, it's the world that we live in, you know what I mean? And if we're going to have, like, the social network, right, I feel like we should be using it to be honest and, like, tell each other, you know, like, the stories of, like, you know, our struggles and things, right? And, like, yeah, there is a place for, like, attacking, you know, like, attacking, like, shit whenever you see it, you know what I mean? But, like, there's a place in, like, Brian and the Z, in which, like, shout out to Brian, because, like, he's, like, a way fucking, like, Brian, you're a way better writer than, like, you have any right to be in this fucking finances zine. Like, the opening paragraph, like, I read it, and, like, I'm down in the basement smoking with my wife, and then, like, I give it to her, and I'm like, read this. This is it's fantastic, right? And, like, just the, you know, opening segment or whatever. And you talk about being open with, you know, our finances and everything. And I think that should, you know, spread out. Like, we should talk about, you know, us having bad days and, like, you know, us, like, feeling less than, or, you know, like, not really, like, feeling like we're fitting into the mold that society has laid out for us. And we should be pointing that, because society has been set up to separate us. So we should be breaking through that and kind of sharing with each other. And, like, yeah, there's a place for, like, the social justice, you know, and, like, not really as the catchphrase there, but, you know, like, actual social justice. Like, there's a place for that.
Sure.
And it's important.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also not good to be angry and screaming and spitting venom at people all the time.
Yeah.
You know? That's not the best use of
Twitter.
your internet time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like to fight.
But, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to...
It's not even about
and,
fighting.
like,
I mean, fighting is something you can do, but it's like when people are constantly posting just like these negative fucking posts that are on the attack and calling everyone that doesn't agree fucking morons, and, like, I just see people do it day in and day out, and I'm like, what is your interior? You must be so fucking mad on the inside. I just, like, I feel bad for him. It's like you don't have to get angry to show people, you know, that you care about something. And that's actually a really, like, male patriarchy type thing.
Yeah, it's not the only emotion.
Right, and men are usually only given anger as the way to express their emotions. And these people, you know, we're feeling sadness and we're feeling love towards people that are in a struggling situation. And we need to acknowledge that and not just start screaming at everybody else that doesn't care as much as we do, you know?
Right, and that, like, that goes back to the whole American Psycho thing, where it's like Pat Bateman, like, just seeing, you know, everything around him is, like, relating to, like, brands and everything, right? And that's, like, postmodernism. Like, that's what that is, you know what I mean? Like, and the, you know, the cultural logic of, like, capitalism or whatever, but, like, in the book, you know, like, really his only, like, outlet to it, because, like, nobody, you know, he keeps getting recognized as, like, different fucking people. Everything that he sees is brands, like, everything that he eats, you know, and he's just, like, kind of going along with, like, these different identities and shit, you know. And whenever, like, these social contradictions hit, his only response is to fucking lash out, you know. And, like, you know, a lot of that is, like, psychosis is, like, a mental disorder, or, like, being a psychopath, sorry.
Right.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, those contradictions are important. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we, you know, just on the left, we need to, like, talk to each other and, like, open up, you know? And the people that have these feelings, you know, like, we can't win everybody over. If we could, then it would, you know, it would be fixed. But, like, a lot of these people just need to be told that it's, like, okay to, like, feel empty. You know what I mean? Like, there, you know, society is set up to feel empty, and for you to feel shitty, and for you to just go through it and, like, grind your teeth and, like, expect to get something better and then just, like, not have it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
They're
it's,
being broke.
it's set up to be that way.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I explained finances, millennial finances, to older people several times, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I never saw it like that before." You know, like they don't understand when I'm like, "No, the school payment is like $700 a month. That's why we don't have money for a down payment on a fucking house." You know?
Yeah, because that's all student loan money.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of house money.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to lay that out there. You know, coming
yeah.
into
Well,
the
thanks,
new year,
man.
You know, people. Yeah. Absolutely. Have a good night, guys.
Oh, I wasn't trying to rush you off that. I was just.
Yeah, let's
thank
get.
you.
Oh
we
no,
gotta,
No, you're gone.
We
sorry.
got to burn through. we probably got another 25 minutes.
Okay.
Let's just see how many of these we can get through. You know.
All right. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Steve from Lawrence, Kansas.
What's up? How are you doing this evening?
Doing pretty good. I heard y'all were talking about food, and I was like, well, that is something I drove. So the thing was, I had heard several so far that I like immediately found familiar. Sam and Patty, definitely. That was one that like my dad would freshen that shit up with like the frozen like green bell peppers. That was the best. Like that shit with the rice, also the rice and butter and sugar and like the hot sauce and crackers. That definitely was like, yep, that hit home. That hit home.
Stuffed bell pepper, you said?
Yeah, green bell pepper. Yeah,
Yeah.
or red bell pepper.
Yeah.
Usually do green. Red also.
You can do all types of different good shit with that.
I still do that
Yeah.
one, and you do quinoa and shit.
Yeah, right.
You want to go
Very-
cheaper and better?
It's
You want to go a little
it's a fucking
cheaper and
veggie
better?
bowl.
You want to go a little cheaper and better?
What?
Stuffed poblano pepper.
Oh.
It's better. The pepper's better.
Absolutely. That didn't make it into the mix until like later on.
I think poblano
And,
peppers
like,
were
later in my
invented
college-
4 years ago.
No, they weren't.
I
know, dude.
Maybe everyone should
good.
give one food. One
Another
cheap
one,
food.
based off of like eating that Kool-Aid mix, was eating the hot cocoa mix.
Yeah, I never did that though.
That fucking
Smart.
That
That's a
fucking-
smart move. That's like a chocolate pixie stick, something nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, that was the best. Especially if you got the ones with like the little ass marshmallows in it. So it was really good.
That's wise. That's awesome.
ano-
I did
another-
like I love thinking about when I was a kid and I had to sneak and find some kind of food and just make something out of what it was. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah. And so I had a couple new ones that I don't think had gotten mentioned yet. So we get these like really cheap soft pretzels, like frozen soft pretzels and cheese whiz. That was another one.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that was a good one. And this one was like more conceptual, just breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
Anything from like just cereal to like Eggos and sausage.
I did.
Like sometimes bacon if we had like the time.
I still do breakfast for dinner, probably once every 6 months when it just is a treat, because, you know, we don't normally make a huge breakfast now. My daughter eats breakfast at school, so
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
treat.
That's one I still do to this day. Is breakfast for dinner. That's like one that like is stuck with me.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah.
Hell.
But hello.
Oh, we're here.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. But yeah, that's like one that really stuck with me. It's like the breakfast dinner. That one like it never stopped. Also, every now and then I'll do like the soft pretzels and cheese whiz and stuff. That was a really good one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty like it's pretty funny like how those things that kind of stick with you as an adult too. Like you don't have like even if you get like a little bit of money as an adult, like those things just never go away. Those things like stick with you forever. Like those cheap meals, those things were the best.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
some of your faves.
I want to keep mine
some of the
brief
faves.
because like I know y'all have like only a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
Is it cool if I plug my Twitch?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, my Twitch is twitch.tv/Kansas Beach Patrol.
Hell yeah.
Have a happy New Year, Street Fighters.
You
Love
too.
y'all.
You too.
Kansas Beach Patrol?
Kansas Beach Patrol.
Yeah.
There's a beach there, I think. Well, there's a beach in Ohio, right? There's Alum
Yeah,
Creek.
we got
Oh yeah,
Alum
there's
Creek.
beaches in some of the bigger lakes.
Alum Creek. Let's get this spread.
Go to the crick.
Get this bread.
We're
Close.
stopping at 2:20, I think.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy. What's going on? My name's Madison from Pennsylvania.
What's up, Madison? How's it going?
Thanks for calling in.
It's going okay. Thanks for having me on the show. I don't know, I can't sleep, so I figured I'd call in.
Oh, cool. You
have any favorite bad dinners growing up?
Not necessarily like a bad dinner, but like a really gross thing that I used to eat with my grandpa. He used to like take those little Vienna sausages and like mash them up with like a bouillon cube and some water and like saltine crackers and like make like a weird soup out of it.
Oh, like
that's the weirdest thing I've ever
little
heard.
Ham salad action.
Wow.
That's the weirdest one. You're like, it's not. I mean, it's it's not gross or anything. But and then you're like, the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
It's like a Vienna sausage salad.
It fucking is like a ham salad.
It was disgusting, but like I ate it because like I would just sit there and eat it with my grandpa, and like he also would like do the fried Spam with ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard on white bread.
I never got into Spam. We never had that at my house. My parents were too freaked out by it.
Yeah, I didn't have it.
Yeah, I hated Spam, but like Vienna sausages were okay.
Yeah, I've had those. But yeah.
And then like to make it like somewhat healthy, we would have like steamed cauliflower with cheese.
Okay. There's some vitamins in there.
Yeah,
the
right.
cheese.
Yeah, you're getting some minerals from that plant.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show before, but there would always be times when we would like each get $1 to go to the store, and instead of buying candy, someone would spend their money on like Vienna sausages. And I was like, what is going on with you?
It's a little backpacker.
Need to load up on it to get some energy.
Always on his feet.
Well, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sorry,
you guys have a good night and happy
you
New
too.
Year.
We're in speed round.
Thank you.
And thanks for. I think they topped the list for the worst food so far. Maybe.
Yeah, the ham salad.
Yeah, shit on a shingle is a pretty gross one. Vienna sausage salad is
just the salmon meat in general.
Canned salmon seems to be a big no-no. Yeah, get the fresh stuff. Yeah. Let's see who's on the line. Thanks for calling Street Fight.
Hey, is this me?
It is.
Uh-oh. This is Reed from Tunes on Film. How you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I have a thing that my grandparents, my grandma used to make. Cabbage rolls. Have you ever had those?
Cabbage rolls. Hell yeah. That's the standard around here. My grandma made them
yeah,
too.
This is in Saskatchewan, which I guess it must be a Ukrainian influence there, which is kind of odd because as far as I know, there's no Ukrainian in my family, but I would just not find those palatable, like, at all, ever.
Yeah,
it was like, well, like how do they make them there, or in your experience?
It was just like hamburger meat wrapped in like cabbage.
I wish you all understood how like everything in the Midwest is made out of hamburger meat.
Yeah, I have to say that one of the threads, I said this outside, but one of the threads through this is that all of the food is like a terrible version of this, because salmon cakes are actually like can be prepared very well, but it's when you just dump a can of something out and then try your best to make it taste good, but you're horrible at it.
Yeah.
You know, make do with like really shitty ingredients. I don't get it.
Yeah, and then I do have a good meal though. Like I was at the top of the show, Brian. You mentioned feeding your kid a Kraft macaroni and cheese, and that was good to hear that that's not just a Canadian thing.
Don't y'all call it Kraft dinner?
We do, yeah, which is kind of delightfully ambiguous, but
yeah, I've heard.
yeah.
I don't remember where I heard it. It might have been on Degrassi when I was in school, but somebody being like, "I'm about to have a craft dinner," and I'm like, "Damn, they make a whole dinner," and then it was just the macaroni and cheese. I thought it was like a Hungry Man.
It's in our second. It's in our second national anthem, which is "If I Had $1 Million" by Bare Naked Ladies. It's they say we wouldn't have to eat craft dinner, and then at concert, but we would, and then the fans at concerts would throw boxes of craft dinner at them from the stage, and they'd have to put up signs at the concert. They have to put up signs at the concert venue saying "Stop doing that."
Oh, that's so much
Bang the
fun.
head with the box of mac and
That's so
cheese.
much fun. I'm really
Well,
disappointed.
the thing is, well, those boxes have sharp corners, and also you gotta understand, especially if the cheese packets explode, it ruins their instrument.
Yeah, it would. If it got into pickups of an electric guitar, it would fuck it right up.
Damn.
Or between the keys of a keyboard,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
there
is
too.
the big one.
Oh man, that's no fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to mention before I let you go, because I know you're speeding through them. I don't think I ever thanked you for having me and Jackson's article in the punk scene a couple months ago. So I wanted to do that.
Thank you for writing it.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Oh, I know who you
Yeah,
are. I
yeah,
did your podcast, didn't I?
Yeah, I did.
Twice.
That's what I said from Tunes on.
Yeah.
Said Tunes on Film at the beginning, then I just rolled with it.
Yeah, no, I did that. I talked about Big Money Hustlers and my two favorite music movies, Big Money Hustlers, and then I did one about the decline of Western civilization 2, which is we should do that movie on the other side. That's one of the best movies ever made. It's all these dudes being like, I got into rock and roll so I could fuck chicks.
Yeah.
It fucking rocks, man. Well, thanks for calling in, and thanks for writing the article.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, we're actually starting. We haven't done that show in like a year and a half, but we're starting it up again. So we'd love to have you on a third time if you're up for it.
Find me a show. I love doing it. Well,
all right, excellent. Yeah.
All right. Just because I've done it.
Sure. You're the guy that does shows.
I do.
I don't do a show. I just host. I just do the ads.
You do this show.
I do the ads.
You do Street Fight.
Right.
You're the Street Fighter.
Right.
Everybody's
Just
afraid of you.
strictly Street Fighter.
Everybody's afraid of you. That's
Sure.
what I always tell you. Everybody's afraid of you.
I understand.
You're
I
scary.
do understand.
You're a
I
scary
have to
guy.
soften my image in 2019.
Yeah, we're gonna soften. I'm gonna be a PR guy for you. I'm gonna teach you how to soften up. Be a sweetie pie. You're basically. Brett is like 300 times sweeter than he was like even 2 years ago.
Really?
I mean, but you were like very low on the sweetness scale at that time.
Okay.
But you are. I mean, there's things that you've said to me in conversations like privately where your opinion on things has evolved. Like things that used to drive you crazy and stuff, it has evolved to like be more understanding. I do think you're a sweeter guy these days.
Okay.
Don't be afraid of Brett. He ain't gonna yell at you.
I mean, I will yell at people. I do yell at people.
Does yell at people. He loves to yell
only
at
in a good. Only if I like you do I care enough to yell at you.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never seen you yell at somebody that you hated. Like, I've never seen you pick a guy up off the street and just start yelling at him. But I do remember somebody tried to grab us in their orbit in Denver.
Oh, yeah.
And you were just like, I'm just not interested in being around you or talking. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like in the most clearest fucking... But listen, none of us wanted to be in her orbit. Like, it was a crazy energy. It was like... She was saying offensive things to us, and it was just like, no. And Brett...
Telling us everything that we were doing sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just trash talking.
Just
no thanks.
rolled up out of nowhere.
Yeah, so I, as a person, just stood and looked the other way. But Brett, like, she wouldn't stop, so somebody had to say something, and Brett did, that's what I'm thankful for him. He's good at being the mean one.
All right. All right, we got 3 more to go. If you're on the queue, we'll get you in. Thanks for calling Street Fighter Radio. Who are we talking to?
Y'all gotta talk like the machine man, though. What's up?
Who do we got? I'm gonna skelly you.
Hey guys.
What's up? How you doing? Who's this?
This is Team Waingro.
Team
I talked to
Waingro.
Brian earlier today.
You did speak to me earlier today. What's up?
Like you really crystallized that, like the hot couch moment of when you were 19 and you just watched stupid action movies and you thought, man, this is what cool guys do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was saying earlier that that thread that's on there now, all the responses, it's really funny. I'll let you know, because I gotta let the people that aren't on Twitter know. So I tweeted something earlier today that said 3 movies absolutely blew my mind when I was a teenager. I'm not talking about now. It didn't change me forever, but these were movies that when I was a teenager, I felt I needed to watch 7,000 times. And they were Natural Born Killers, The Crow, and Dazed and Confused. They were just movies that were so super important to me. So I said, what movies were super important to you as a teenager? It's like 4 generations of people naming the same movies.
Yeah.
How homogenous the tastes are.
It's just funny.
Did you thought? Wait, is
it's
it
a certain kind
Does
of?
it change you, or you thought were important?
Just that. No, it's not even that. It's that I saw Natural Born Killers. I actually was.
Oh yeah.
I was talking about this earlier. I took my first real girlfriend to see Natural Born Killers 3 times because I thought it was like so romantic and so mind blowing.
Okay. So what are the
Well,
other...
where is she buried?
No, she's doing good. She's a biker in Wyoming now.
So what are the other movies that
I know one of them.
people got affected by?
What were the movies for you, Team Wangro? Because I think you had some pretty good typical ones too.
Oh, well, Goodfellas.
He is
Way
one
of the
of
Gun.
them. The
which
Way
is-
of...
Oh, The Way of the Gun is fucking great.
Oh, well, it was like 1999, and this trailer comes on where there's 2 cool guys. They're driving a muscle car through the desert. There's Limp Bizkit playing. Like, it checked off all the boxes.
Guys being dudes.
Yeah, and you're totally right that a lot of those movies basically boil down. There's 2 things that people have pointed out. One, it's all about dudes. All the movies that were in this list, even by women, most of them were about dudes.
The Decline of Civilization is.
And
by a
Team
woman about dudes.
Wangro even pointed out they're like dudes watching what they think are cool dudes. But aren't supposed to.
These are cool dudes doing cool shit.
Yeah, but
and
you're
they
not
never talk to women.
Yeah, but you're never, ever, ever supposed to want to be those people when you see the movie, but in the end, you want to be those people.
My big one. I'm more arty farty, but let's see how typical I am. Donnie Darko.
That's so.
Oh, I know.
Million people said Donnie
Amazing.
Darko.
That one made you feel
That
really
movie Friend in
smart, like you
LA, that's his
understood
big-
time travel,
Yeah.
and it was like real creepy and shit. So like, before Hot Topic was everywhere, you were like, that's about me because I think about fucked up things all the time.
I've never watched it.
Yeah, I don't know if it works for a person over 25.
I saw, agreed. Requiem for a Dream.
That's another one that's come up a zillion times. I'll tell you, I watched it once and said I never have to see that
Fucking
again.
alarming.
But I was blown away by it.
I was really into the shock stuff. Like, I watched so much shocking stuff, and that one did a really good job of just, like, really being just all around bleak.
It's the bleakest movie I've ever seen. It's a movie that, like, when I...
Well, did you watch Pi before or after that?
I've never seen Pi.
I watched Pi before. That's why I went and saw Requiem for a Dream in theaters.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my other one, which actually kind of breaks your thing, but Ghost World.
Yeah, that's true. I love Ghost World, too. Ghost World's just a good movie.
I'm like the most Enid Coleslaw. I still so much... Her talking about just going to the bus stop and just jumping on and just going wherever it takes her is like still... That was romantic to me. That was like... if anything, I know that I can always just fucking leave anytime. I can just leave and go find a place that's better than where I'm at, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that was, like, really important to me.
I always really loved, in that movie, there's a thing that happens where she's younger and she's trying to impress, like, Steve Buscemi.
Oh, yeah.
And she takes him to a concert by a band called Blues Hammer.
Oh, yeah.
That is just...
perfect. It's amazing.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, like, white guy type blues things, right?
It was like rap rock blues.
Yeah, it was just really bad. And, like, I saw that and just totally 100% identified with wanting to seem cooler to older people and, like, blowing.
Really missing the
mark. Mine's probably Fargo.
Fargo?
The movie Fargo.
Right.
That's another one, though.
Oh,
I
can I
thought Fargo
cut in?
was a comedy. Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of think that the thread is about, like, the darkest movies you've ever seen.
A lot of people are that, yeah.
And well, another thing, Brian, that I really kind of started thinking about was how movies used to be something, music, everything used to be something that you passed on. Like, I remember the first time that a guy got like a CD burner in my town.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, you could.
And it was like, oh, and he didn't even buy it. He got it from Rent-A-Center.
Well, hey, it's worth it, man.
Still works.
Yeah.
It was like, well, yeah, it'd be $500 if I buy it, but I can just $1,700. I can spend $17 this week, and we can burn all the Tool albums.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was sweet. I do remember the first CD burner guy. Brett was actually, weren't you a really early CD burner guy?
I was a very early movie burner for older people at work because they didn't know how to get the movies, and so I would have new releases, and some of them were like, they didn't mind cams, like they were just into it.
Yeah,
like,
some old guys at work would always be like, you get the movies that are in the theater on a DVD from me. I never sold them, though. I would just get them because I wanted to be cool to the older guys. It was stupid. I know, it was stupid.
Gotta make money.
But, like, I do remember those early days of having these conversations with older people. Like, yeah, the movies from the theater. You can just get them and watch them on your TV.
Right.
It was good. Well, we got
to
get...
I don't think kids are going to, like... it was funny, like, watching you talk about showing your daughter Kill Bill.
Yeah.
And, well, I hate this, you know, and the thing is like, being able to copy anything was like a miracle, you know, like you pass things down.
Yeah.
See, in the situation that we have now, though, in that kids can literally know about any type of music and hear it immediately, this is like kind of that postmodern thing that the previous caller was talking about in American Psycho, where we now idolize producers and like people that are kind of behind the scenes and like creators, because it's based on how good do you know, like, the perfect song to use in this situation, or like an unknown track that will get a reaction out of a lot of people, or introduce somebody to a new artist or something that they didn't know existed.
Cranks and logs.
How much can you mash up things that already existed before and create something else out of it? And how keen is your eye for that? You know, I feel like that's where we're at with the current realm of creation and art and taking it in.
I can't wrap my head around that, you know, like,
sure,
you know, 36 years old.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be able to. That's the thing about it. Is like I've kind of let go of it and been like, look, I don't understand why you like these things, but just cool. And like the thing is, it's weird because they don't. There are kids that love movies. Obviously, my daughter's not one of them. You know, my
Yeah,
daughter
that's
just
the-
doesn't love movies.
See, that's the big thing about having a kid too, is that you think they're going to be into that stuff, but there are people that just don't cherish fucking movies or
I know.
music the same way that you do.
My
It's
daughter
just-
doesn't at
My
all.
kid doesn't really like sports. She likes to do some of them, but I'm like, come on, get out there, compete, try. She's like, I want to do like creative dancing or drawing or make up a song, or I don't really want to do athletic stuff. You know?
Right. I was always like, oh, you can do whatever you want artistically to my daughter. And she was like, I want to play soccer and volleyball.
Right.
And it's like, those are what I want to do. And she did it. And it's like, I don't know. I know that there are movie dork kids out. I think the problem with now is that the movies that come out, there are good movies that come out, but the main ones that you can get your hands on easily, that you can get to the theater to see, are the ones that we're all watching now. So it's this sort of thing where it's like, so most kids are like, I need to get to Infinity War immediately because everybody else is going to be talking about Infinity War. But there isn't that movie like we had where our parents were like, that movie is garbage. You know what I mean? And we just love it.
Yeah. Hey, Mom, will you take me to see Seven?
Oh, that's a good one too. I love that.
My friend's mom took me to see, the same mom that took us to see Boys in the Hood when we were 12, took us to see Kids when it came out.
Oh,
and
man,
it was
what a
like,
bad
Wow.
She sat in there
Did
with
she
us
castrate
too.
all of you? Yes, she should have.
It was rated, it was unrated. The movie was, there was a big deal. It was in the news.
Oh,
and as soon
fuck.
as the news, when Kids came out, the news was like covering it constantly. Like it was like the big controversial thing. So my friend went to his mom and was like, we really got to see Kids. We'd really like to go see Kids. And she took us to see it. And like now when I think about it, I'm like, God, if I had a fucking podcast at that time, I would have loved to have sit down and talked to her when we walked out of the movie theater.
She just wanted to make sure you were informed.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Well, we just wanted
what was going on.
Well, I think she knew her kid was bad. You know what I mean? Like, she knew the damage was sort of done and that all of his friends were kind of delinquents and that, like, well, we'll keep them from doing something bad by taking them to that movie that they feel they need to see.
Did she think that Kids was going to teach her kid how to use a condom? I mean, what the
I think she thought it got us away from doing something else bad while we were in the theater.
Just let them fantasize about being bad kids. This is an escape from them being bad kids.
I mean, she took us to see Boys in the Hood and then sat in the car while we talked about, man, I wish I was in a gang. Like, just having, like, these conversations with each other when we're fucking 12 and 13 years old. We see the movie, we take the exact wrong message from the movie, and then she has to sit there, and I'm probably in her mind, she's like, every single one of my son's friends is the dumbest human in the world. Well, hey, thanks for calling in. We got to get these last couple calls in before we get out of here. Dang it.
No sneaky Pete's?
Okay.
No sneaky Pete's this time.
Maybe no sneaky Pete's.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Oh, we're dangerous.
Hey, y'all.
What's up? How's it going?
Hey, man, I'm sorry to call in again, y'all. It's Mississippi Willie. Look, I'm sorry to call in again, man. I'll make it quick. I've been trying to find, somebody send me a link for the Facebook group for, fucking months.
Mississippi Willie on Twitter. Your name comes up when you search. Somebody find him and help him get into the Facebook group. There,
Yeah,
we
I
got you
was going to
covered.
ask you to send it to me, Brian, but I know you're busy. But yeah, just you can search Mississippi Willie or it's 901 Arizona Ice. But somebody please invite me to the Facebook group and Discord.
I'll help you. I will help you with the Facebook group, all right? We got to get this
you, man.
last...
I love you so much.
Thank you. I love you too, Mississippi Willie.
We got a burgeoning bromance going here.
Now we got to do a show where Mississippi.
Yeah, we do have to do a show in Mississippi now. That's our next Iowa.
Is Branson? No, that's Missouri. Never mind.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking
Hey,
to?
what's up?
Is it Skeleton? No.
Hey, it's Jeff, Eminent Prof. What's going on?
What's up?
hey,
Hey,
buddy.
that's a good call to have on. Near here, we got 8
Hey,
minutes
I was
left.
actually calling with the opposite problem of Mississippi Willie. How do I stop posting in the Facebook group?
You can't. It's impossible. It's such a wonderful group of good people, and it's the best place to get up to the minute Brian news. too, because I'll be in there
That
posting.
and I was surprised to find that your daughter did not like Kill Bill, because it's such a, like, I don't know, the violence level of that movie is so, like, cartoonishly high that it's almost like it's unconceivable to not like that movie unless you don't like violence.
It's not the violence. She loves violence. She's seen, she liked John Wick. She's seen Halloween. She's been watching horror movies lately. She saw Hush.
Hush is fucking good.
Yeah, she
That's one
watched
of my
Hush.
favorites. Did she
and
like
she
it?
loved it. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
that's a
really
real
liked
good
it.
one.
But, like, it was just, I think it took too long for her, which is a valid critique of a Quentin Tarantino movie. They do take a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one doesn't.
There's a lot of bullshit dialogue in those movies, too.
Yeah, and listen, the first thing she said when the thing we think is cool, those, you know, now showing things he puts at the beginning of the movie, like the production, and it's like coming on, you know?
Nah,
She's
I
like,
can see not liking that.
she's like, what is this, old? And I was like, God, you're not allowed to, like, watch an old movie. And she's mad because the fights look fake, which is, like, because they were doing such crazy moves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they were jumping from table to
Wire
table.
work.
She's like, why are they doing that? And it's just like, God, you're fucking
Suspend
boring,
disbelief,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
Just fucking watch it.
You're just so boring. You know
Watch
what
this
she
lady
really
get
liked?
That is great, though.
If you want a Gwen Quinby recommendation, she really liked the movie Happy Death Day to You. Like, that was one that she was, like, head over heels for.
The cool thing about these, though, is that they can always surprise you in what they will just hate.
And it could change. I mean, it could change, but maybe she's just too much in like a fast-paced world and won't understand. I mean, because you don't like black and white movies. You don't watch black and white. You think those are too slow.
I like some. I like On the Waterfront. I watched that, and I've seen. I've watched probably 6 in my life. I will say that. You're probably right.
Yeah.
And one of them is Clerks. I've watched 6 in my life. One of them is Clerks. But I
guess my point is that, like, oh, go ahead.
But I mean, she, like, I don't know. It's a different kind of world now, and like, I just don't expect the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me was when I had with movies. Is I tried to watch The Naked Gun with her, and I thought she thought that movie.
No.
I thought she was gonna think that movie was fucking hilarious, and like. I turned it on, and within 10 minutes, first of all, I was embarrassed of liking it. I'm saying it was good because it's
bad.
Like, not easy to watch. But, like, she hated it. And it was so embarrassing. I was like, let's just turn this off. And that was the last time I just don't recommend movies to her, you know? Because I know that she doesn't want anything to do with anything I like. She assumes that if I like something, she's not going to like it.
Yeah,
So,
you can't fuck with that narrative.
That's exactly right.
No, it's not even a narrative. It is true. Nobody likes what their dad watches. I hated what my dad watched.
I didn't.
Well, your dad's cooler. My dad watched like MASH. I remember being
Mine
like,
too.
or like Black Sheep Squadron was this show. He liked MASH. He liked Star Trek, and I just remember being like,
NCIS.
no thanks, Dad. Like, I don't like, and he liked Pink Floyd, so I didn't like Pink Floyd. It was like one of those things, and I think that like most. Well, there's a good amount of rebellion you get out of that. Number one, from your parents, like you get to make your own choice of what your taste is, which is very nice for me because I want to see her form as a person. You know, like I like watching her. I told her yesterday, I was like, it's nice that you're 14. Like, so many parents are like, oh, you're going to be dealing with a teenager. And I'm like, I just find that you're easier to talk to the older you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things, too, like, when I was going, like, 'cause I'm a teacher, and, like, I teach kids that are, like, a little bit younger than Gwen. And, like, that age, it's, like, literally, like, developmentally appropriate for them to be, like, extremely rebellious. So, like, when they're in these middle teen years, they're just gonna be grumpy and hate everything anything that anybody tells them that they are to like.
Yep.
It's really funny to me.
And I'll say this,
it's cool. I think it's awesome.
I'll say this, Jeff. It is also very funny the way they reduce your stuff like I get a big kick out of like when you talk about Kill Bill, you're like, she's like, oh, so this is just like about this lady getting revenge, and it's like, yeah.
It's a pretty sweet revenge she's gonna get.
I know.
Did you see what fucking happened to her?
I know, but when she
simplifies it.
Yeah, she like I
get it.
Yeah, you're trying to watch like if I was watching a Western, she'd be like, so what, this all happens on like horses or something? Like, who cares? It's like, fuck, dude.
They're wearing hats and they're all dusty.
Yeah, I love it though. I think it's hilarious to take something that I feel really strongly about and really like and be like, so what, it's just like some bullshit?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
It shows you your place in the world a little bit, right? It shows you that like all the things you find are important are just as dumb as the things that other people think that are. Like, you look at other people and you're like, oh, that's important to you? That's so stupid, you know? And it's just your beliefs are.
It's almost a relief to hear that, right? It's almost a relief to find that like your important thing or whatever is actually like just as dumb as the thing that you hated when you were a kid.
I agree. Like, I think I look at people's hobbies and shit, and I'm like, oh, that's so dumb. Why would you do that? But then okay, so I'll look at people's taste in movies, right? Where I'll be like, why would you watch that boring shit? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, Brett will say something like, Brian only watches movies if they have guns in them. And I'm like, well, that makes it sound much worse than it actually is. But it's also very true. Like, it's the sort of thing that's like, you can reduce other people, your taste to other people is just stupid. And like oh no.
Did you?
Hello? No, I didn't do it. Well, we lost him.
Was that him? Why is the...
Well, I think we're done, man.
Yeah, it's 2:20.
I don't know what happened, man. I think we lost our callers. Hello?
There's only one left.
Well, now we're done.
That's the show, everybody.
Let me just say that, like, I love it that I spent so much of my life trying to tailor my taste so that other people would look at me and be like, that guy has such great taste, when in fact everybody just thinks everybody else has bad taste.
And also, I think, you know, there was actually a brief period when Brian and I were trying to drum up interest in the show, where we made a whole bunch of physical posters, like 200, and they basically all said everything is stupid on it. Because that is like a radical idea where if you don't believe that what you like is so precious and important, you're completely relieved of the stress of worrying about how stupid other people's shit is, because you like stupid stuff too. You know, now you can be over it. I like stupid stuff too. You like stupid stuff. Hey, we got that in common.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no reason that my fucking Nintendo is a better choice of my time than you reading some trashy novel or something.
Yeah,
you know?
or that like oh, what? Yeah, any of that stuff. The movie taste, the music, telling people like what music. Like, I remember like forcing myself to listen to some music so that people would be impressed with my taste at a time, and now I'm just like, you know, I mean, I still like some pretty complex music, but I just remember telling people how much I love Kid A, and I don't like Kid A. I can't listen to that. I hate it. I like the other ones. I like the other two before it, but it's just like, I wanted that as like a trophy on my shelf. When I had DVDs, I wanted those DVDs to send a message to the people that come in the house. They were like important decorations in my house, those DVDs, you know? And then when I started working at the cable company, I'd go onto all these people's houses and they'd have like Elektra on DVD and stuff. And I would just look down on them like, ugh, this like person's watching.
Doesn't
like,
even care what DVDs they buy.
Doesn't even care what DVDs people see on their shelves. You know, what is this, Blade? You see movies because everybody when I was a cable guy had Blade and Elektra. I don't know like if those were sales.
2-pack or something.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is just like it's so relieving, and you find this out. Some people never find it out, but when you get older, it's so relieving to not to have to project that sort of thing because nobody expects it out of you. Nobody expects it out of a dad in his 30s that he would like anything cool, so you don't have to worry about it at all.
Well, it's also brings me back too. When I first met you, I would talk endlessly about comic books, all kinds of comic books, but I never spoke to you about them. And I remember later, like, talking about them. You're like, you read comics? I'm like, yeah, I've read like billions of fucking comics, but I just knew that you thought they were stupid or not into them, so I didn't really bother telling you about it, you know?
Yeah.
But that's how I've been about a lot of stuff. Like, I don't burden people. If I like my stuff, I'm not going to convince you to fucking like it.
Right.
You know, I'm not here to get other people on my side, you know?
Right, and Gwen,
you're not going to prove that it has value. I know it does, you know?
Right, when Gwen was talking about horror movies, the first person I said was, you gotta go to Brett, dude. He's like an expert on them. She's like, he's seen a lot of horror movies? And I was like, I think that's like all he watches.
That's my favorite. They are my favorite movies.
It's like, they don't even, like, it's just, you know, everybody knows what I like because I can't shut up about it.
Sure.
But, like, you know, it's like, it's smart to just talk about, you're right, talk to people about the things that you have in common instead of just trying to tear apart the things that you don't, that you like that I hate, that I like that you hate,
Right.
you know?
Right, unless it's fun.
It's fun. I mean, tearing shit down is fun.
Yeah,
That's
someone's a good sport about it, but people do get really fucking hurt about some stuff and overzealous about people, you know.
People get overzealous about people's like movie taste and stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll yell at you. People get so mad at me.
It's all staring at a fucking light bulb.
I know. People get so mad. Like, our friends a lot of times, like, just won't watch a movie if I say I like it.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a real, like, weird way to live your life. Because I do watch other stuff. I don't just only watch gun movies. Like, I'd say 99% of the movies have guns in them, but the other part has not just fighting, but I went and saw like mid-90s, and I'll see comedies and shit like that. I watched 8th Grade, like I watch movies like that, so you can't just think like you're missing out on things if you just immediately, when I say, oh, I like this thing, you're like, well, it must fucking suck then.
See,
you know?
that's the other thing. The other thing too is what Gwen is missing out, and this is you really have to work to cultivate this. But once, like he said, your brain is just telling you go completely against your parents. But like, if you can transport yourself into somebody else's joy and know that somebody else really gets a lot out of that, you can sit through that movie and fucking enjoy it instead of being miserable about it. You're not helping. You're just proving to people that you're fucking miserable when you do that. It's like, well, we all thought this would be an enjoyable thing, but you're here to trample all over our good fucking time.
Yeah, I remember seeing Inglourious Bastards, and like, this movie ends and I love it, right? And I'm with my friend who is drunk. He's been drinking through the whole movie. And I loved this movie, and I just enjoyed it, and we were walking out of the theater, and he was like, that movie fucking sucked. And I was just like, that sucks? That's like the crappiest way to, like, leave a movie. Like, I was still mulling it over.
There was a lot
still,
to
like,
talk
tumbling
about.
in my brain there.
Yeah, there was stuff we could have had a conversation about, and now I feel silly that I don't want to get excited about this movie. I don't want to get excited about this movie in front of you.
I saw Avengers with a guy that we're mutual friends with, and in the theater, halfway through the movie, he leaned, and this is when I was like over the moon about these comic book movies, you know? And this guy leans into me, he's like, this is pretty fucking boring, right? And I was like, no.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm enjoying this. I'm having fun, and now I have to feel like the guy next to me wants to leave the whole rest of the fucking movie. They just fucking killed the guy. They just killed a guy. Like, it was like, the scene I will never was when they kill Coulson. He gets, like, rammed with, like, a staff or some shit. And he's like, this is pretty fucking boring, isn't it? And I was like, he just killed a guy. Like, this is cool. Like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Like, as long as there's you can't say something's boring right after they kill a guy. No,
is
I'm
that
just...
Is that the metric?
It's a rule. But you know what I'm saying, though.
It's like the Bechdel test, but it's called the Quinby test.
The Quinby test.
Does somebody die on screen and how graphically?
No, I don't like graphic. It's just you
someone
can't
has
say
to
you're
die.
bored if somebody isn't dying.
This is a story of fucking life and death we're watching right now, so I don't know why you're so bored.
Yeah, but just you know what I mean. Like, just try to be in other people's joy. You're totally right about that. Try to find what other people like about a thing and enjoy it.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't go on your permanent record.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for listening to Street Fight Radio, #1 anarcho-comedy radio show, any station across the nation. Thank you for calling tonight. We had a really good show. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We're heading to the West Coast. We're going to do live shows. We're not going to sit at a desk and take phone calls in front of people. We're going to stand up and tell jokes and have a fucking great time. We're going to Seattle, Washington on January 5th, Portland, Oregon, January 6th, Eugene, Oregon, January 7th, Oakland, California, January 9th. And we're going to do an early show January 12th, Los Angeles, California, at Virgil. Tickets are going to be out tomorrow whenever I get it back from the venue. We're ready to do this thing. It's definitely happening. I'm 100% confirmed on this. We're going to have a good time. I already looked up some good walks. Someone shared a good link for walks that we can do in LA, so I think that'll be good. Come out and see us. If you need more information, streetfightradio.com. Right there on the main page. On the left-hand side is the most recent show you can listen to. On the right-hand side is the most recent update. Click on it where it says West Coast Tour. That has links to Facebook events, the tickets, and everything else. Please, if you're coming, RSVP on Facebook, so that way we can get some organic reach going. Other people can find out about it. And we'll be back later this week. We're Street Fight. Peace.
Dusty.
Where is that? Where?